I'm San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg. I am a Trinity University alum, and I want you to know about my passion for these two vibrant communities. My alma mater is now a nationally recognized liberal arts university, offering fully integrated arts, humanities, STEM, and professional programs. Grounded in the liberal arts, Trinity graduates students who think critically, act meaningfully, and contribute confidently throughout their careers. As for San Antonio, Trinity is an oasis in the heart of a city that serves as a cultural bridge to the Americas. We are a diverse community that values inclusion and welcomes intellectual curiosity and spirited debate. We're a city that challenges convention and welcomes new ideas. Great things are happening at Trinity University, in San Antonio, and through all our connections to our multicultural world. Join me in being part of this exciting moment.
Hello again, baseball fans. Strike one from Cade McGahan to start things off in Game 3 of the series and Game 2 of this doubleheader. Centenary against Trinity. Trinity taking the first 2 games of this set, and they are looking for a clean sweep of their rivals from Shreveport. Both teams going with a little bit of a different lineup. Not wholesale changes by any means, but one of the first for Centenary here at the leadoff spot. Carson Livesey getting into the lineup. We have not seen him before, followed by Hewitt and Boone. LeBrouillet, another new addition, followed by Kimstedt, Forth, Benoit, Ickes, and Menard. So all of those guys that we have seen, except for Livesey and LeBrouillet. And we have our theories as to why they have not been in the first 2 games. Haven't confirmed it, but we'll get to it as the game goes along here. Livesey fouls it off to stay alive to start the game. Once again, I'm Brian Jenselson. Was with you for Game 1 of this doubleheader. We'll be here for Game 2, all alone on Tiger Network, but excited for what's been an excellent weekend of baseball. The 2-2 from McGahan misses low. And Livesey right away making his presence felt at the top of the order, making McGahan work. A full count on the way. McGahan's delivery, chopped foul. Livesey, the freshman from Lafayette, Louisiana. You can see the numbers for yourself. Part of that core for a freshman who have made a tremendous contribution to Centenary right from the get-go. And he continues his long at-bat to start the game. 388, and that is not in a small sample size either. This is now his 18th game. 67 at-bats responsible for that huge average. A home run to his name as well, one of just 2 for Centenary all year long. So bringing some power in the outfield, awaiting the 3-2 and ball 4. McGahan loses it and a runner to start the game for Centenary, just like they did in Game 1 of this doubleheader. Earlier today, it was Noah Kimstedt that walked to start the game, and then Gary Hewitt, who is right up to bat again, doubled to right field to drive him in, put Centenary up 1-0. But that lead was short-lived as McGahan fires in a strike. Trinity responded with 3 runs in the bottom of the second. And overall, they ended up winning 6-2. Following up a 7-2 victory yesterday for the Tigers. Now they turn to McGahan. Bunt shown, but pulled back quickly by Hewitt. Runner not going anywhere. Livesey is a threat to go. 7 stolen bases, caught just twice, so he has taken a big lead out there. McGahan keeping an eye and checking in again. Livesey also has 2 triples, which just show the speed that he has. McGahan, bunt down the line, but it curves foul. So Hewitt will have to stride on back to the batter's box. You get a look at McGahan's year. And it has been a great one, that is for sure. The numbers a little bit off there, but they show the big idea. 1-1 with 31 innings and another check on the runner. He's got a 1.45 ERA coming in. Little looper the other way past Harris, a base hit for Hewitt. Runner going to third. Gores throw a cannon, but it's cut off. First and third for the Gents to start off this game. That was simply a case of Hewitt putting the barrel down and letting the ball hit it. With 2 strikes battling, and Joby Boone has a golden opportunity, but he waves at that first one. Been a bit of a tough weekend for Joby Boone. Just 1 for 8. The transfer from Delgado Community College, the 0-1, fouled back. Head coach Mike Diaz saying that Joby Boone has become what they call their Hunter Pence. You're a Major League Baseball fan, you know Hunter Pence from his days with the Giants and with the Astros, saying it's not often pretty, but he gets the job done. Here, the 0-2 sent the other way. Gore tracks it down, but a run will come in to score. The runner tagging. Hewitt will stick around at first, but Joby Boone, a sacrifice fly to put Centenary up 1. Another nice job by the Centenary hitters with 2 strikes, not trying to do too much, getting a job done. And while Gore gets to it, Centenary jumps up top. So now the cleanup hitter, this is someone the Gents have been missing. Number 23, Cade LeBrouillet, the sophomore from Iowa, Louisiana. The 1-0 from McGahan, a strike at the top of the zone. LeBrouillet on the second team all-conference last year, thanks to a .313 average, 24 runs batted in, and 13 stolen bases. Does a little bit of everything, but here, all he can do is head back to the dugout. Strike 3 for McGahan, and LeBrouillet's first at-bat ends in a flash. It'll leave it up to Noah Kimstedt, who has been at the top of the Centenary order, now dropping down to the 5-hole. Continuing to check on the runner. This time it's Hewitt, and he is someone you certainly have to pay attention to. 9 stolen bases, has not been caught. Looped in breaking ball for McGahan, strike 1. Tyler Pettit got 1 Gent trying to steal. It was a throw to third. Here goes Hewitt. And the hit and run works to perfection. Kimstedt finds the vacated hole. Runners at the corners again for Centenary. Quick correction on that is that the first time he's been caught stealing was actually today. He was the runner trying to take third that Pettit threw out. But nonetheless, Hewitt in motion gets to third. So he is 9 for 10 on the year. And he sets up Lenny fourth in the 6-hole, trying to add to this Centenary lead, but swings through a breaking ball. Strike number 1, Lenny fourth. Another one of those freshmen from Flower Mound has seen his average dip, and he saw his hit streak snapped as he swings through another good breaking ball from McGahan. Lenny fourth had a team-high 10-game hit streak that was snapped earlier this afternoon. He went 0 for 4. And he grounded into a double play in the 9th inning. Here he lays off of one. Pettit's throw down to second. Not in time. Runner coming home, and he's safe. Double steal for the gentlemen. And they catch Trinity on their heels. You'll get a look at it here on the replay. It was Kimstedt who took off for second. Harris cut the throw off, make it Baker there at short. And he had to collect it, and it took long enough to allow Hewitt to then speed home. So already a different energy shown by Centenary in this game 2. Curveball misses outside. McGahan, very similar to Joseph Shavana, had a bit of a rough outing in Texas Lutheran last weekend. He went 3 2/3 innings, gave up 8 runs. However, there's a caveat to that. Only 2 of those were earned. And he gets a 3rd strike swinging here. 4th hustling down the line, but not going to beat the throw of Pettit. Centenary jumps up 2 on Trinity as the Tigers come to bat in the 1st. Tigers having to do some work early, down 2 to Centenary. And the starting 9 that will try to do it a bit different than what we've seen the last 2 games. So let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Tigers. It'll be Ezra Gore leading off. Ty Preston right behind him. Good to have him back. Corsten Hastings in the 3-hole. Jack Baker hitting cleanup. Tyler Pettit at catcher, still batting 5th. Brandon Nelson, the DH, in the 6-hole. Holloway a little down at the 7th spot. And then Montreza and Peterson rounded out for the Tigers. First pitch from Parker Primo, a strike at the top of the zone. And we've said it all weekend long. If you've been paying attention, you've heard the name thrown out there, and we finally get to see him on the mound. Parker Primo, a sweeper, gets Gore swinging. The senior from Lake Charles, Louisiana, acts as if, or serves as if, he's kind of the final level to a video game, if you can imagine that. So, level 1, Tyler Herrera, accomplished for Trinity. Level 2, Aiden Rychek. You can check that one off as well. Now, the last and perhaps the most difficult of the levels, Parker Primo. He has been around seemingly forever in Shreveport, and there are few better than him in the conference. He's got Gore 2-2 to lead off this game. His signature sidearm delivery. Gore gets to it, sends it towards the gap, but Hewitt will make the catch for out number 1. Parker Primo's numbers speak for themselves. 3-0 on the year, 1.85 ERA across 34 innings. He has struck out 34 batters in those frames, just 8 walks. And he does a little bit of it all. He's got that 3-0 record. He's also got a save, because he is someone that Coach Diaz and the Gents turn to whenever they can. Right now, he's got Ty Preston at the plate, and mentioned it during the lineup introduction that it is so great to see Ty Preston back in the starting 9 as he lays off first pitch ball. He has missed his last 7 games. He's been dealing with a little bit of a hamstring injury, but now good to go and ready to get back in there. Takes ball 2 inside from Primo. When he was in there, his first 13 games, hit .324, and has acted as a spark plug for the Trinity Tigers at the top of the lineup. He's either been leading off or in this second hole. The 2-0 to Preston, lined the other way foul. Tiger dugout tries to get to it, but can't. There was a point early on in the year where Preston was the only Tiger with a hit in every ball game. He hasn't quite kept up that streak, but it's been pretty close here. He sends it up the middle, and it gets not through, but a wild throw will be well late. So Ty Preston right away back in the lineup, back on base. An excellent job by Boone just to get to it. It looked destined for center field and then an acrobatic effort. But Preston beats it out easily. So now Corson Hastings, another new name in the lineup, hitting third, and that is because he has earned the promotion in the lineup. 5 for his last 12 after a 2 for 19 start. Take strike 1 from Primo. With Preston and Peterson in the lineup today, along with Gore at the top, look for the Tigers to get back to their running ways. Preston taking a big lead off of first. Not going yet, and a swing and a miss from Hastings. 0-2 for Primo. Hastings, a junior from right here in San Antonio. Lays off of one high. Catcher Ickes standing up from the start of that pitch. Preston continues to inch off of first over there. Hastings spits at one in the turf, 2-2. Primo misses away. Full count now for Hastings, who has brought it all the way back from 0-2. And this is what the Tigers have been doing all weekend long, forcing the Centenary pitchers to work for every single strike, every single out. It's a big reason why the bats have exploded. The 3-2 runner going. Hastings sends it the other way, but the left fielder Livesey underneath it. Preston has to hurry back to first, and he does. 2 away in the first. That's a great idea from Hastings, taking it opposite field. Just landing in the wrong spot if you're the Tigers and Hastings. Now the cleanup hitter, Jack Baker, today. First time we've seen Jack Baker in this series. Check on Preston with 2 away. Baker making his 14th appearance of the year, 8th start. Preston dives in safely. Primo very concerned, as he should be. Preston 4 for 4 on the base pass. Will he test out that hamstring early? Faked an attempt. Instead just a strike. No one going anywhere. Primo reaching down towards the mound, as pitchers would normally do to grab some dirt. The only problem is there's no dirt anymore. It's turf. But maybe still just grabbing a hold of some of those pellets down there. Ready to fire the 0-1. Baker lays off the back pick. Not in time. Preston able to get back in there. Ickes keeping him honest. Now he creeps inside. The pitch ends up over the plate. Baker can't get his bat off his shoulders, though. 1-2, the advantage for Primo, the senior star from Shreveport. Gets his sign from the catcher. The sweeper nearly gets Baker to bite, but not quite. At least early. That patented sweeping slider from Parker Primo. Not getting the Tigers to chase. 2-2 to Baker. Nearly hits him. Full count. This time the runner will certainly be going. 3-2 with 2 away in the first. The pitch to Baker. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Primo shuts down the Tigers in the first frame, and the Gents keep their 2-run lead headed to the second. Cade McGahan back on the mound, looking to calm things down a little bit as Austin Benoit takes ball one. Right back to McGahan, this ground ball taken care of by the starting pitcher, out number one. It's been a bit of bad luck baseball for Cade McGahan as of late. At TLU, those 8 runs, but just 2 of them earned. And even going back to Austin College, he went 4 2/3, gave up 3 runs, all of which were unearned. So if you add those two together, 9 of the last 11 runs that Cade McGahan has allowed have been unearned. His 0-1 to Ickes, a strike on the corner, 0-2. The senior from Davidson, North Carolina, Cade McGahan, has become a reliable starter for Dave Smith, Tim Scannell, and the entire Trinity Tigers. Talking to pitching coach Dave Smith before this one, very similar to Jackson Tier, and just not really having to change too much, and especially there, that breaking ball executed, earning the strikeout, the 3rd for McGahan in just 1 2/3. But for McGahan, understanding that so many of those runs coming after errors that kept innings going, and Coach Smith adding a little bit of color to some more parts of that story too. McGahan forces a ground ball. Baker has it, and that's out number 3. But we'll stick here through the break to continue talking about McGahan, since that was just such a quick inning, as Menard grounded out easily to second base. McGahan dealing with that tough luck, the defense behind him, one part of it, but also different details like at Texas Lutheran, the wind was blowing out the day that he was starting, and he gave up a grand slam in the first inning, which according to those in attendance would not have gone out had it not been for the wind, because it was one of those pop fly style home runs, not those on a line. I was able to make the game on Friday and Sunday in Seguin, but that Saturday afternoon was the only one I was not there for, and that's when McGahan went. So can't confirm with my own eyes that story, but that's what pitching coach Dave Smith said. And then you add some stuff like tough calls going against him, a balk here and there, a hit by pitch in which maybe the Bulldogs dove into it a bit in the batter's box. Just little things like that that affected McGahan. But so far, limiting the Gents to 2 runs in the first inning, a quick second, and he'll have to keep the Gents there, because against Parker Primo, who you get a great look at right now, not very easy to score at all. It's just one of those stories for Primo of a guy who stepped onto campus and from the moment he did has shined. Freshman, sophomore, junior, and now senior year. He does it with that unique delivery that you don't see very often. Not quite the submarine style, but 3/4 all the way down. And Pettit fouls the first delivery from him in the second. Little in on Pettit there. 1-1 the count now. Really the biggest surprise when it comes to Primo, at least this weekend, is that we're just now seeing him. And you might be wondering, well, if he was scheduled to start today, then why are you surprised you haven't seen him? But you may not know Centenary baseball. Parker Primo makes as many appearances as anyone. In fact, coming into this weekend, out of 19 games the Gents had played, Parker Primo had been in 11 of them. So more than half. But Pettit not fooled by that delivery one bit. We told you 1 home run earlier today, another one in this second game. Pettit takes Primo deep and his power bat is back. It took him 12 games to hit his first home run of the year. Now he has 2 in 2 games. And that was a no-doubter in his mind. Now comes Brandon Nelson, who homered yesterday, had a great night and had a great afternoon as well. Just continues to ride the wave that most of these Tigers have gotten on. Nelson 2 for 3, a double earlier today, another walk showing his good eye. Takes a strike inside from Primo. Primo coming off one of those outings I'm describing, in which he did not start, but he came in against Letourneau from the bullpen, went 2 innings, gave up just 1 hit, no runs, and he struck out 5 in those 2 innings of work. So out of 6 outs that he got, 5 of them were via the strikeout. That is how dominant Primo can be. Just a few days earlier, literally on Sunday, he went 7 innings, allowed just 2 runs against Dallas, and he struck out 10. The 0-2 here to Nelson, blown by him. That's strikeout number 2 for Primo. But just this week alone, describes what Primo can do. Comes in to start on Sunday and then in from the bullpen on Tuesday. Now it's Saturday and he's making another appearance. First pitch to Holloway, up and away for ball 1. Holloway didn't have the best afternoon in game 1. Trying to get back to that magic from Friday night. Ball 2, low and away. Sliding down in the lineup a bit to the 7-hole. Still has that glow stick in hand, however, and an advantage here, 2-0 on Primo. The sweeper this time does catch Holloway, who has been waiting for the matchup with Primo all week long, as have most of these Tigers. It is no secret who the Gents will put out there. And Primo gets another swing and a miss. Strike 2, though. Ickes was ready to throw it around the horn. The second best ERA in the country. But the Tigers have tagged Herrera and Rychek. Can they get to Primo? Holloway lays off to take the count full. Already a home run from Tyler Pettit this inning. Cutting the deficit in half. Holloway looking to get on. Full count pitch. Ball 4. Holloway makes his way to first. That's pitch number 30 as well for Primo. Just 4 outs retired by him, so it just continues to be the case. Tigers looking at pitches, not chasing many out of the zone, and forcing the Centenary pitchers to truly earn it. The first pitch to Montreza, outside the zone, ball 1. Montreza, a mainstay in both games thus far. Had a strange first game of the doubleheader because he went just 0 for 1, but he was hit twice, so he came around to score, did play a big part, especially defensively, and he loops this one into center field. Holloway was off with the pitch. He'll stay at second as that drops for a hit. Runners on first and second, 1 away for the Tigers. The hit and run appeared to be on, so Montreza, willing to swing at what looked to be a ball, landed right on that maroon tee in center field. And after the home run, Tigers threatening for more. Jack Peterson looking to get on the board. 1 for 2 in game 1 last night. Went 1 for 3. The first pitch to him, a bunt down the third base line, right along the chalk, but it goes foul. Ickes, as soon as he saw an inch of separation between the white and the brown there, said, let me pick it up before it curves back, because Peterson would have been on first with ease. Has to make the slow trot back to the back. Picks it up, and now readies the 0-1 at bat. Primo trying to induce a double play if he can, but Peterson, one of the fastest Tigers, so that will be difficult. Got Holloway at second, Montreza at first. The pickoff gets away from the shortstop, and here goes Holloway to third. Primo concerned with Holloway at second. Not quite sure exactly why, because Holloway has 1 stolen base this year and can't really foresee him taking third with 1 away in the second. But a break for the Tigers. Now runners at the corners, just 1 away. And one of their best bat handlers in the box still in Peterson. We've talked about it all year long. No one better at blooping it where it comes from. Can't connect with that one high in the zone, so 0-2 for Primo. This is one where Peterson desperately wants to make contact. Montreza at first, Holloway at third, 1 away. Most things in play would result in a tying run. Peterson lays off of 1 high. Primo's 1-2 to Peterson, sent the other way in the air. That'll certainly get in 1, and it'll get in more. Peterson's off the wall. Everybody had to hold up, so it will just be that one as Montreza was staring at it from second. No one sure where it would fall, but nearly an oppo taco for Peterson. As this one banged off the wall, you'll get a look at Livesey having all sorts of problems over there in left. It hung up long enough for him to possibly get underneath it, but he just didn't see it from the start. The wind has been blowing around San Antonio today. But it's a 2-2 ball game. They'll correct the scoreboard in just a second, as even the people putting in the stats out there confused by that one, but it is a 2-2 ball game as Holloway came in from third. Montreza still at second, as you see him there clearly on your screen. And Peterson at first. Ezra Gore back up at the plate. Primo misses high. Ickes wanted it there, but not that high. And this just continues to be a stunning performance by a Trinity offense that was so quiet over the last span of games, losing 4 of their last 5, losing at home to Mary Hardin Baylor, but they have bounced back. Bouncer from Gore, can't get the out at second, and then a bobble at first is safe. Benoit taking over for Pitts at first, who has been so solid all weekend long. It was a clean throw, but he just couldn't catch it. And so the breaks all going the way of Trinity right now. It's a 2-2 ball game, and the bases are loaded with 1 away in the second. A visit necessary right now by Coach Diaz with his catcher Ickes and his pitcher Primo. This is something that not many would have bet on, seeing how these teams were tracking coming into this weekend. Trinity losing at home to Mary Hardin Baylor. They lost at McMurray, and they lost a series to Texas Lutheran in Seguin. Meanwhile, Centenary had been 4-2 in the conference. They had just thrown a no-hitter and won a series against Dallas. They had a couple of magical walk-off wins, so they had the full momentum coming into San Antonio. But it has been stymied and then some. The 1, 2, and 3 pitchers, Rychek, Primo, and Herrera, have been touched up thus far, and Primo at risk of giving up a lot here in the second. It'll be Preston to take over with the bases loaded, just 1 out. Primo's pitch, strike 1 to Preston. And there is one thing you can say about Primo against the Tigers. This required a little bit of math on my end, which is always a fun adventure. But I did some digging. As he prepares the 0-1 to Preston. Preston lifts it to the opposite field, headed towards the gap. Runners tagging as the catch is made. But a run comes around to score. Sacrifice fly for Ty Preston. And the Tigers jump on top. Fundamental baseball played by Ty Preston, who gave the left fielder Livesey another adventure for a lifetime. He is being whirled around in all sorts of directions in left field. You might be able to hear the wind blowing on the broadcast. That is what is costing Livesey able to get the out, but the Tigers are on top now. Corson Hastings with runners on second and third. 2 away in the bottom of the second. There we go, the graphic updated. The 0-1 to Hastings, lined foul. For Centenary and Primo, it is of the utmost importance to get an out here. They have an offense that has struggled to put anything on the board. The 0-2 misses inside. Just 2 runs last night, 2 runs earlier today. And after jumping out in front 2-0 with one of their best pitchers, they had to be feeling good, but moods change. The 1-2 to Hastings, grounded towards the right side. Boone takes care of it and gets the third out of the inning. But 3 runs for the Tigers, exactly like game 1 of this doubleheader, leave them on top of Centenary, 3-2 headed to the third. Ball 1 to Carson Livesey. Tigers now on top in the top of the third. Back-to-back balls low and in to Livesey. And a bit of a delay starting this inning because we have a new broadcaster with us on Tiger Network. You met Cole Isaacson yesterday. You've met me, Brian Yanselson, all weekend long. Reed Rosales now welcome over from the softball field.
Yeah, I'm in here relieving Cole. We got to go through the broadcaster rotation here.
As you enter the broadcast, you'll see a Livesey single up the middle past the dive of Baker. Another leadoff runner. Second time Livesey has started the inning on base. First a walk, now a single. But you are very familiar with Centenary. You were watching the ladies against the Tigers.
Yeah, they played them in softball. They split that series over there. 2 one-run games. Very exciting. They have a rubber match on Sunday at noon.
That seems to be the theme when Centenary plays Trinity. Excitement everywhere you look. Nearly hitting Hewitt. McGahan's delivery as Hewitt looks to give himself up to bunt. That has been Hewitt's main task this weekend. Has squared around a bunt so many times it's hard to keep track now. And here he goes again, pushes it down the first base line. It's a good one. McGahan, though, tracks it and will get it to Hastings for out number 1. Hewitt gets the runner over, and there's one away in the third.
Yep, that's what he wanted to do. He did it well, put it right down that first base line. No threat of a double play there.
What it does do is put a runner in scoring position for the heart of the Centenary order, Joby Boone. He drove one in with a sacrifice fly his first time, and he is first pitch swinging here. Drives it to deep left field. Preston looking and leaping for the catch. Ty Preston robs Joby Boone. He takes over for Ezra Gore and makes almost the exact same catch out there in left field along the wall. Livesey does move over to third, but there are 2 away thanks to this phenomenal effort from Preston.
Yeah, Boone absolutely launched that one off the bat. And what a great catch right there, robbing that one. No damage done.
Now a strike delivered to LeBrouillet. So the Gents have a runner on third with 2 away, trying to tie things up. But the Tiger defense has stepped up this weekend. 0-1 delivery from McGahan. Swing and a miss from LeBrouillet. He went back frustrated to the dugout in his first at-bat, struck out on 3 pitches. McGahan threatening to do so again. Has to trust his catcher on 0-2, goes with a high fastball. That does miss for ball 1. Infield playing a normal depth with 2 outs. Not even Holloway over there at third. Giving LeBrouillet any credit for a bunt of any sorts, and one's chopped down. LeBrouillet is very speedy, but he's also very powerful and has become one of the best hitters in this Centenary lineup. All SCAC honors last year, and it has only gotten better. The 1-2 to LeBrouillet misses again outside, even count 2-2.
Trying to pitch him out here, trying to get him to chase something, but he's got a good eye. Got to give him something a bit better than that if you want him to swing.
McGahan trying to put him away. The 2-2 chopped to the opposite way. A tough play for the shortstop, but it's made in time. Montreza guns it over to Hastings, and that's out number 3 thanks to stellar defense by the Tigers. Preston, now Montreza, helped McGahan get out of the third. 3-2, Trinity Tigers. Parker Primo on the mound, the starter for Centenary, already 3 runs to his name. Tigers looking for more. The cleanup hitter Jack Baker will get things going in the third, and he's hit by the pitch. You got a great look at Primo during the pitch in which it happened. Frustration on his face, not how you want to start an inning.
Definitely not. One of the worst things you can do as a pitcher is start the inning off with a free pass to the first base.
And Baker's a speedster over there at first. 5 stolen bases, has not been caught. You might be sensing a theme. These Tigers aren't caught very often when they do try to steal. As a team, they are 51 for 58. Check over there on Baker, and actually that number is already out of date. That was coming into game 1. But already changes to that as the action continues in San Antonio. The first pitch to Pettit outside. Reed, I don't know if you were around to hear it this weekend, but I had a feeling that Tyler Pettit was going to hit a home run this weekend. You know, none after 11 last year, 3rd on the team behind MJ Metz and Brian Schaub. It just seemed like a fair bet. Well, he has 2 of them.
He's been doing well. He's one of those pieces from last year's team that stuck around. And he's really shown that leadership role on this team.
A 6th-year senior, spent the beginning of his career at the University of the Incarnate Word, the Division I program just across the highway in San Antonio. Tigers happy to have him wearing maroon and white. The 1-1 to Pettit, breaking ball in a dangerous spot to the catcher. Already left the building twice, trying to do so a 3rd time. And in case you want to question how important of a piece he has caught all 3 games of this series, including both ends of a doubleheader, which is just unheard of. The foul ball off the bat of Pettit. And you can get tired just watching a game. He's catching all of them.
He's catching all of them, and he's smiling. He's been smiling this entire at-bat. He loves to play baseball, and there's nothing better you can ask from a baseball player.
I asked him before this doubleheader got started, hey, do you plan on starting both ends of it? And he said, I've got nothing better to do, right? Not exactly that, but he did say, yes, I plan to catch both games. And I asked him, do you ever get tired? And he said, well, I'm not that fast anyway, so even if I'm going slow, it's not like you're going to tell I'm tired. So here he is again, Pettit, the 1-2 from Primo, high and tight, ball 2.
And you can really hear the wind out there on the broadcast now, really starting to blow in.
It's given Livesey some problems in left, perhaps aiding some of those home runs, although Pettit's was on a line earlier today, so no wind necessary. Primo has to deal with Baker at first. Pettit at the plate, a hit and run, but it goes foul. Baker off with that pitch.
And we talk about how heading into this game, Centenary having one of the best starting rotations in all of Division III, and the Tigers, they've really found a way to hit them hard here. They put up a lot of runs against a very, very stingy Centenary starting rotation.
Stingy indeed, and stingy this at-bat for Tyler Pettit. A couple of foul balls in a row on 2-2, making Primo work. Now 52 pitches thrown by the starter. Not an out recorded in the third. Tigers hoping to get to a Centenary bullpen. Already gone by Herrera and Rychek. Having to get through Primo. Runner off again. Baker, a little bit of a late jump, and he is caught out to dry. Not sure if that was a hit and run. So Baker took off very late. That is not the jump he wanted on a stolen base attempt, and Ickes took full advantage.
Ickes is a very strong catcher. He threw out Ezra Gore just yesterday.
Tigers, though, simply replace the runner at first. Primo shoves his glove forward in a sign of frustration. Loses the catcher and brings up the hot-hitting Brandon Nelson. Reed, I know you were at the softball field today, but you were a huge part of our broadcast yesterday, running all sorts of things in the control room, aiding in some of the incredible replays we had. So first, thank you for that. But second, I want to say you got to see Brandon Nelson's home run. What were your thoughts on it?
It was very cool. It was awesome to see. And, you know, for a Tiger team that has kind of struggled in the beginning part of the season, to see them play so well, so complete, it's really wonderful to see that they're kind of getting back in that last year's team shape.
Nelson with a big swing, but it heads foul. It's really a common thread that is starting to be put through, not just last season, but this season now. And we've been witnesses to it on Tiger Network for the most part. Of course, we're not there at away games, but we keep very close track of these Tigers. And last year, when they headed to Shreveport, a story was born as... Speaking of slow, come on now, Tyler Pettit. You're not slow. Catching the second end of a doubleheader, and he just stole a bag.
Well, Pettit's going to have one to hold over Ezra Gore. He gets to second. Gore got thrown out yesterday. Look at that. Perfect form right there.
So you're telling me Ickes threw out Ezra Gore and Jack Baker, but he couldn't throw out Tyler Pettit?
Baseball's strange.
Sneaky speed from the catcher. So now with one away, a runner in scoring position, Nelson, the 2-2 count, lays off of one low to take it full. But last year, Trinity dropped a game to Mary Hardin Baylor. Then they went to Shreveport and lost 10-0 to Centenary. They then fell down 8-4 and 12-9 in the 8th inning of a doubleheader against Centenary in Shreveport. It kind of seemed like the wheels were falling off a bit. as Nelson continues his patience that he has shown all weekend long, drawing the walk. But the Tigers came back to win that first game of a doubleheader. They swept the doubleheader in Shreveport to win the series, and that was the beginning of a 16-game winning streak. It took the Tigers to the SCAC tournament, to a top ranking, and eventually 19 of 20 wins after that mark, all the way to Iowa for the World Series. Well, this year, lost to UMHB, team feeling not great about themselves. The only thing is they skipped that step of losing 10-0 to Centenary, which I think everyone in maroon and white on Trinity's side will certainly accept. But it's beginning to look like a very similar situation than last year.
It is, and this team is definitely good enough to win out for the rest of the schedule. But there are some very tough opponents out there. We talk about Southwestern, how they've looked this year. It's going to be interesting in the SCAC.
Holloway lines it to short, but right to Kimstedt, who doubles up Pettit off the bag. A tough break goes against the Tigers this time as Holloway hit it on the screws, but it was directly at the shortstop, and he gets Pettit off the bag. So Primo gets out of it with no further damage to the scoreboard. He is up to 67 pitches, however, through 3. We're headed to the 4th. Tigers up 1. Leading off the 4th inning, the shortstop Kimstedt, as is so often the case in baseball, the great defensive play leaves that same guy at the plate to start the next inning. And here we do have that shortstop who caught the line drive double play, now falls behind 0-2 to McGahan.
1 for 1 today, singled in the first, looking to do some more damage for the Gents.
Not gonna do so. Waves and misses at that 0-2 curveball. McGahan picks up his 4th K.
It was an absolutely nasty breaking ball. Nothing you can do with that one.
For McGahan, it all starts with fastball command. Everything plays off of that. He's got good breaking stuff, but it only works if he lands that fastball early and counts. Here he goes with the curveball to start it. A high throw, but acrobatic jump for Corson Hastings for the 2nd out. Just 4 pitches for 2 outs. And Hastings helping out Holloway. H&H, 3rd and 1st.
Little hop right there. Maybe you need to go join the high jump team on the track.
2 swift outs in the top of the 4th. Austin Benoit looking to extend it. Not wearing batting gloves on this hot San Antonio afternoon. Waves at one high. Would have been ball 2.
0 for 1 today. Grounded out in the 2nd.
We have yet to see Benoit behind the plate, which is his natural position, and where Coach Diaz described him as the man coming into this season, which allowed him to really take off. He played a ton last year as a super utility and the backup catcher. But this year, knowing that he would replace some of those guys that left, especially behind the backstop, he gets a piece of the 2-2 delivery, just flailing it to right, but Jack Baker there for the catch. 1, 2, 3, go the Gents. McGahan catching his roll.
top of the fourth inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, no players left on base. After 3.5 innings, it's Trinity 3, Centenary 2.
Tiger bats looking to break through some more against Parker Primo. His first delivery to Montreza, a strike down the middle.
1 for 1 today, singled in the second.
This time the breaking ball gets past the glove of the catcher, even count. Coach Diaz saying Parker Primo will never outthrow anyone, but he outcompetes anyone. Truly plays with his heart out there, and it's why he has been so successful across 4 seasons as a gentleman. Obviously, credits a lot of his success to that unique motion that we've highlighted early. An ability to run a fastball in on a right-handed hitter, which he tries to do there, but maybe a little too much run. Montreza nearly hit for the 3rd time today. Instead, a 3-ball, 1-strike count.
See on the replay here, it's impressive that Montreza was able to get out of the way of that one.
The 3-1 line the other way by Montreza, and he gets past the dive of the right fielder, LeBrouillet. Montreza off and running for a while. Past second, headed to third. He is safe. A triple for Michael Montreza.
What speed from Montreza. He gets that knock over into right field. And LeBrouillet diving out for it, can't quite get it, lets it roll to the wall. And that gave Montreza the space he needed to extend that into a triple.
You can see the look from here. He looks dejected after he made the throw. And then the cutoff not in time. Peterson, the ability to drive him in. Runner on third. Nobody out. Infield has to play in. Centenary cannot afford to give up many more runs. Peterson on the ground right to that drawn in infield. Benoit takes care of it. A much needed out for Primo.
Really is. And the game plan for Trinity really has been knock out the starter as quickly as we can so we can push into the bullpen a little more. So to get that out there, to keep Primo in, it is going to be a big help for the Gents.
As Rigor now at the top of the lineup for the Tigers. Still has the infield drawn in. Menard, Kimstedt, Boone, and Benoit. Past the diving infield is Gore. That's what it can do on the other end. We saw it can help on the Peterson ground ball, but that one from Gore may be right to the third baseman if he's playing at his normal position. Instead, right in the middle of the shortstop and the third baseman. 4-2 Trinity.
Big run there for Trinity in a game where not a lot of runs have come across the plate to extend the lead just by that much more. Really big, and maybe Primo getting a little closer, having his day end.
Ty Preston, a sacrifice fly his last time, has to wait on a check on Gore. Primo on the first team All-SCAC a year ago, and also on the All-Region third team. That means he is one of the best in the West, and that is nothing new. You look back at his sophomore year, another appearance on the first team in the conference, and another appearance on the West Region team, the second team this time. Led all of Division III with 10 saves as a sophomore. It is not easy to get to him, but the Tigers have put 4. Runner on first with still 1 away in the bottom of the 4th, and Primo continues to check on Gore.
They don't want a runner in scoring position, and Gore, with his stealing ability, he's definitely able to make it to second.
Third in a row in the major leagues. That would be an easy bag to second. You cannot pick off that many times anymore. That has not quite trickled down to this level. So Primo is okay for now, but Gore clearly in his mind as Preston pushes a bunt foul. But what we've continued to see, Reed, is that even if the Tiger base runners don't go, they're affecting the pitcher enough that it's really worth it.
Yeah, when you can be in the head of a pitcher, no matter what you're thinking about doing, even if you're just standing on first base, if you get them thinking about it, it distracts them from the at-bat at hand, and then the control maybe wavers a little, and when you have too many things to focus on, if you're Primo, it starts to get a little bit overwhelming.
Some time called there, but now Preston back in the box, waiting the 1-1 from Primo. But he'll keep waiting. 4 pickoffs now to keep Gore at first. Rob Manfred shuddering his eyes. The 1-1 this time. He does send it home, and he gets a comebacker. Off balance, throw to second, out there on to first, double play. Parker Primo losing his balance, but making the throw to second. And hold on a second, are they saying that the throw to second was off target? It looks like they are. The late motion by the umpire saying that Gore is safe at second, so no double play, scratch that. Still a great play by Primo and an even better job by Kimstedt to at least salvage 1 out. But the Tigers, new life with Hastings at the plate, and he lines it the other way, fair ball. Gore will come around to score. Hastings into second for a double, and the Tigers continue to capitalize on extra opportunities.
And that is a very bad moment if you are Centenary, because in a game where you really want to keep Primo in, if the runs keep coming across the plate, it gets a shorter and shorter leash. But what a great piece of hitting there by Hastings.
Primo looking towards the dugout. In a whole heap of trouble already, 5 runs against him. Baker at the plate, the cleanup hitter, with Hastings at second. Trying to go in on Baker, holding his glow stick, takes strike 1. For whatever reason, the Tigers have had Parker Primo's number historically. You've already heard us talk about all the accomplishments, all the accolades for Parker Primo. An excellent career in Shreveport. But this is where the math I did came in. I told you I did some math. Over 21 2/3 innings against the Tigers over the last 3 years. Primo has given up 25 hits and has an ERA of 5.40. He does not like facing the Tigers. And for as dominant as he has been against everyone else, the maroon and white of Trinity giving him trouble. Doing it again today, and the bobble at short nearly costing another out, but Kimstedt collects it in time for out number 3. But right now, everything shifting the way of Trinity. 5 runs on the board thanks to 2 in this 4th frame. Trinity up 3 over their rivals from Shreveport. Cade McGahan loving what he's seeing when he steps to the bench. Tigers continue to provide him offense. Now a 3-run advantage to work with. A strike to Ickes, the catcher. And 2 strikes to Ickes, the catcher. 0-2 for McGahan, who has really started to gain momentum after a tough first inning.
Yeah, he's really gaining momentum, obviously. He feels a lot calmer now that Trinity is in the lead by 3. And he's really going to work against Ickes here. That quick 0-2 count.
It's 1-2 now, but strike 3 swinging. Ickes headed back to the bench. 5 Ks now for McGahan. And I love the word you used, Reed, calm. I think that really describes Cade McGahan and what he has told me all season long. He says no matter what, he prides himself on being calm and confident. Whether it's going well or going poorly, you will never be able to tell by just looking at him. And it was a tough first inning. Gave up 2 runs, fell behind Centenary. But ever since then, really mowing down this Jets lineup.
Yeah, he's really mowing them down. That was a great breaking ball to retire Ickes.
Does throw a pair of balls to Menard. The freshman third baseman. Also going with that batting glove-less look. And that one misses inside, and that's actually ball 4. So a quick at-bat that ends in a walk for Menard. Almost too quick to keep track of, so he'll go over to first and turn the lineup over for Livesey. Livesey making an immediate impact upon insertion into the lineup. The freshman from Lafayette takes strike 1. He's walked and he's gotten a base hit. And while we were not told officially, we have put 2 and 2 together. And if you keep track of SCAC baseball, you know that Centenary had a couple of bench-clearing brawls against the University of Dallas in Shreveport last week. And there were some suspensions given out. And we haven't seen Livesey and we haven't seen LeBrouillet until this Game 3, so we can only infer that those 2 regular contributors who are just now in the lineup were the ones suspended.
Yeah, the probability is pretty high on that one. But it just shows a lot of passion for these rivalries in the SCAC. And as we get closer to that SCAC tournament, it's going to be really exciting because all the teams just seem so much better this year than they did last year.
It really has been a great year of Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference baseball. And just again, if you're tuning in, we don't know that for sure. We don't have that confirmed. We're just inferring from what we've gathered. We did ask the question. It was not confirmed directly, so we've been doing what we can. And Livesey and LeBrouillet, 2 of the best bats in this Centenary lineup. Livesey, a freshman who went 3 for 13 in that series against Dallas. Did have his 9-game hit streak snapped against Laterno. Looks at one in the turf. Pettit goes up to throw, but it gets away, and a stolen base for Menard. That hit streak actually snapped against Dallas, not Laterno, for similar reasons that we've just been talking about. But as a freshman, part of that incoming class that Coach Diaz calls his quote-unquote baseball kids. They just play the game the right way. They're gritty. They're scrappy. They have helped turn the tide of a reigning championship season. Looking to get back there are the Gents. The 2-2 to Livesey. Close, but no cigar. 3-2 now after the check swing.
Close check swing there. Makes it a 2-2 count. We'll see when McGahan dials up here. If he dials up another breaking ball, can try and put him away.
Ball inside is a base on balls. Gents have runners on first and second with 1 away. Tying run to the plate.
And for the Gents, this is a big opportunity because now the entire game changes with 1 swing of the bat. It's a big opportunity here. It feels like this is one that the Gents have to take.
Gary Hewitt at the plate, the super senior in his 5th year. Takes ball 1 outside. Him and Kimstedt, the most experience on this Centenary roster. Runners going with the pitch, the breaking ball into the outfield, a base hit, 1 run scores easily. Runner has to stay at second as the outfielder charges in, but Centenary not going away quietly in this one, 5-3 now.
We talked about earlier how it changes in one swing of the bat. Now that really rings true because last time it was just to tie, but you hit a home run here, you take the lead. But we'll see if Centenary wants the big fly or if they'll just keep playing small ball like they did there.
And Joby Boone has some power. He is the next due-up hitter. He'll have to wait on a Tim Scannell visit to the mound. Coach Scannell always brutally honest in these conversations. Talking to his senior starter who has had quite the journey. Upon arriving in San Antonio, got some playing time as a freshman. But then over his sophomore and junior years, really had to fight for time. Didn't make his first start of last season until March 22nd. It was a Tuesday night game. Tigers started experimenting with McGahan on the mound, and he kept impressing with every opportunity. So to start this year, still wasn't in the starting rotation against Birmingham Southern. It was Jack Martinez who got the start on Saturday. But after Martinez struggled a bit in a starting role and McGahan cleaned up in the bullpen, Tigers decided to just flip-flop. And what a decision that has been. As after the visit, a first pitch foul to Joby Boone. But it just goes to show different roles for different guys. And McGahan thriving in this starting spot.
And when you get the opportunity to take on a new role and really excel at it, and you make the most of it, you get what McGahan is doing right now. He's having a good game so far. We'll see if he can work out of the jam here, though.
Livesey at second. Hewitt at first. Just 1 away for Centenary. 1 run already across. Still down 2. Joby Boone waiting for McGahan to fire. And it's a long wait. Finally ends in a step off. Pettit trying to reassure him behind the dish. Delivers the sign, and now the pitch to Boone. Ground ball to short. 6, 4, on to 3, but off the mark, so no double play. Runners at the corners with 2 outs after Boone beats out the throw.
It was an easy out over at second. Trying to turn the double play there. Ball just a little offline. Having to bring Hastings off of first, but still, that'll make it 2 outs.
Now comes LeBrouillet. A chance to bring his team within 1, or perhaps tie it with an extra base hit. Coach Diaz calls LeBrouillet Centenary's spark plug. Bring in the energy when they need it most. Takes one in the turf for ball 1. Adding that he had a great second half of his freshman year, much better than his first half. And so that really catapulted him into this season in which he is succeeding in the 4-hole. Swings away over the top of this one, though. 1-1 for McGahan.
Ran that breaking ball inside him. No way you can hit that one with the bat.
Check on Boone at first. Could be off to force something with Livesey at third. Already saw the Gents do that once. The double steal worked just as planned. Not going anywhere here, but it's ripped down the line. Fair ball and off the wall. LeBrouillet heading to second. Will pause before going to third, but tie ball game thanks to Cade LeBrouillet. They call him a spark plug. There's your spark. 5-5 in San Antonio.
The spark right there, being able to hit that extra base hit, drive in those runs. We're all tied up. The momentum feels like it's shifting, and if you're the Gents, this is exactly what you want. You want to even the playing field once again and give Primo that reassurance that, hey, the Bats, we're here for you.
The second visit of the inning means it is time for a change. Dave Smith grabs the ball from McGahan And in the top of the 5th inning, 5-5. We promise you action, but you've got plenty of it. Don't go anywhere after a break on Tiger Network.
Now pitching for the Tigers, number 8, Harrison Broussard.
Jack Martinez was the go-to on Friday night. Michael Bokey earlier today. Now the man from the bullpen, Harrison Duro. 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Centenary tied it up and still have a runner on second. The first pitch to Kimstedt, a foul ball the other way. You think the Gents were missing Cade LeBrouillet. Just the 3rd extra base hit of the whole series is a 2 RBI double as he stands there at second. A much needed burst of energy. Duro trying to stop it right there though. The tall righty looks back at LeBrouillet, now fires home. Misses outside for ball 1.
And LeBrouillet, just such a clutch hit. Such a good piece of hitting from him to get those runs in, to make everything all tied up here. We'll see if they can bring him home because he's in scoring position.
The 1-1. Kimstedt lines it up the middle past Montreza. LeBrouillet coming in to score, and the Gents on top. After scoring just 2 on Friday and 2 earlier today, Centenary exploding for 6. Duro knew it immediately off the bat. And not just 6 in the game, but 4 in this inning to put Centenary ahead. What a turn in this one as Lenny Forth now, the batter at the plate.
Yeah, good hit on Duro, who is just such a talented pitcher for this Trinity Tiger team.
Duro coming in from the bullpen today in nearly an identical spot as he did on Tuesday night, and unfortunately for him, going the exact same way. The runner headed for second. The throw for Pettit bounces off the runner and towards the Tiger bullpen. Chaos at Trinity's baseball field leads the runner all the way to third, as Singh starting to get away from the Tigers. The throw was in time. The only problem is it hit the cleat, it must have been, because look at the bounce it took all the way to shallow left.
And you can see that Tyler Pettit behind the plate, kind of throwing his helmet in frustration over that. Just unlucky for the Tigers.
So now 90 feet away from adding to their lead. DeRoe desperately trying to get out of this inning. The pitch to fourth misses high and away. But against UMHB, Harrison came in, replaced Jack Breezy, and he gave up the 2 runs that ended up winning the game. Both of those were charged to Breezy, but they came against DeRoe. Here he came in with the runner on second, a tie game once again, and Centenary taking the lead off of the junior. Have to be careful with a runner at third. DeRoe wanting to trust his catcher if he goes off speed in the turf. He does, but before it gets there, a foul ball. That was headed to Pettit in the turf, but Ford staying alive.
Staying alive because another run, that's a big run if they can get that in. Continue things with the 2-out rally right now in the top of the 5th.
Pitch to fourth, high and away once more. Full count on the way as Harrison DeRoe gave up a base hit. Kimstedt now all the way at third after the stolen base and error. Freshman waiting patiently in the batter's box. The 3-2 sent the other way. And finally, the Tigers get out of the inning, but not before Centenary puts across 4 runs to take the lead, headed to the bottom of the 5th. What was looking like a rough afternoon for Parker Primo, all of a sudden looks a whole lot brighter for him. He's on the mound in the bottom of the 5th, and he's on top 6-5 as his gents have given him some offense.
Yeah, the offense saying, hey, we're here for you. We've given you the lead. If you can hold it for us and we can put some more runs on the board, we can get out of here, not getting swept.
Ball misses outside to Tyler Pettit. Has shown the capacity to tie things up with 1 swing of the bat. 2 home runs this weekend, including 1 against Primo. Ickes wants it high and away. Primo gets it there, and it's sent back to the net foul. Tyler Pettit, a Cincinnati Reds fan, thanks to the great catcher Johnny Bench. That is who inspired Pettit to be a catcher. And while it's tough to be a Reds fan nowadays, still very happy to be at that catcher position here. He sends one the other way. It'll stay in the ballpark, and into the glove it goes of LeBrouillet. Wanted to show off that speed if it got down, but Pettit will have to head back to the dugout.
Yeah, you can see right here, even though it's a lineout, he hits it a far, far way. You can just see how strong he is to muscle it out into the opposite field.
Up now, Brandon Nelson. He takes the first pitch ball from Primo. Up at 87 pitches now after that delivery. There has been action in the Centenary bullpen, but with the lead now, at least wanting to give Primo a chance to hold it. And he gets a swing and a miss from Nelson. We've talked about Primo's struggles against the Tigers, but overall, truly one of the best pitchers you will see in the conference. And as has been highlighted by his all-region honors, not just the conference, across the nation, Primo, in his senior year, a 15-10 overall record, 183 innings. And as someone who is both a reliever and a starter, and really at the beginning of his career, mostly a reliever, that is a crazy amount of innings, and you can see why. A strikeout of Brandon Nelson, and Primo looks to be on a roll now.
Yeah, he's starting to set in, get more comfortable, and that was a great strikeout there of Nelson. And that's not what the Tigers want. They don't want him to be settled, because if he does get settled, he can truly be unstoppable.
Christian Holloway now, nobody on, 2 away in the bottom of the 5th. Takes a ball. Primo, one of many Centenary pitchers who make this staff one of the best in the country. A second best ERA, 2.6. It's been rocketed up a little bit thanks to the Tigers, but coming into this weekend, it was picture perfect as Holloway takes strike 1 outside. And Coach Mike Diaz says, our success is based more on mentality than talent. You don't have guys out there that are blowing it past anybody. They're not throwing in the high 90s or anything. But guys like Primo just get it done. They compete and they win. Centenary up 6-5, headed to the 6th after a 1-2-3 inning for Primo. Austin Benoit set to lead off the 6th inning for Centenary as the Gents find themselves up 1. And actually scratch that, a pinch hitter. First pitch from DeRoe, a strike. Trying to see exactly what the number is there. 22, that means it is Zachary Van Gorkum pinch hitting for Benoit. And Van Gorkum swings over the top of that one outside, 0-2. Van Gorkum, the sophomore from Shreveport, Louisiana, making just his 11th appearance of the year. Now over the 20-game threshold are the Gents. Able to lay off this 0-2. Van Gorkum, the transfer from Bossier Parish Community College. Look at me, still having that parish pronunciation. Adding it to college. But Van Gorkum down 1-2 to Giroux. And he gets a hold of this one way back to left. Out of here. Preston trying to time it up like he did earlier, but Van Gorkum, the pinch hit home run off of Giroux. Gents up 2.
Yeah, Van Gorkum absolutely launched that ball into left field. As soon as that one came off the bat, I think everyone in that park knew that it was going to get out of here. Just absolutely destroyed. And you can see that Harrison Giroux kind of knew it himself.
Well, the only question is it hung up there forever, and we've turned down the crowd mic because it is so windy out there. So you can't hear it anymore. We didn't want you to just be listening to the wind, but you might be able to see the uniforms on these guys out there. The wind really is swirling, and since that was so high, Preston thought it might bring it back, and it almost did, but squeaking it over the fence there, Van Gorkum, his first home run as a Gent. So the offense for Centenary waking up at the end of this series. Giroux ahead 0-2 like he was on Van Gorkum. What does he have for Ickes? A breaking ball. Strike 3 called.
Dirty strike 3 there. Good breaking ball. And a good way to bounce back after giving up that home run. Getting that first out. The worst thing you can do is get runners on base after a home run with no outs and starting to let things spiral out of control. Good on Giroux for getting that strikeout.
First pitch swinging, Menard fouls it back. Just truly a shocking development when you put 2 and 2 together. Harrison Giroux has not allowed a home run this year in over 20 innings of action from the bullpen. So that's on the pitching end. On the hitting end, not only does Van Gorkum not have a home run, Centenary barely has any home runs. That is just the 3rd home run of the entire year for the gentleman from Centenary. And it comes at a crucial moment for them, a 2-run lead, trying to salvage game 3 of this series. Still plenty of baseball to play, but the Gents feeling much better than they were a couple innings ago. And Menard ahead 2 balls, 1 strike.
They put in Van Gorkum for Benoit, who hadn't had a hit today. Took a chance on him, and that chance really paid off.
Low and in to Menard. 3 balls, 1 strike. The bottom of this Centenary order had been quiet, but now making some noise and threatening to send it to the top with a runner on if Menard gets his way. Pettit wants it low and in. Giroux gets it low and in, but too low. Ball 4, and Menard takes his base. 1 away in the 6th, Centenary with a runner on.
You gotta be careful here because already in an inning where Giroux had the shaky start, you don't want things to start spiraling. Have the runner on first, try to turn 2, get out of it quickly, because if you don't, then things could start getting a little hairy.
Delivery to Livesey misses inside for ball 1. Carson Livesey 1 for 1, 2 walks, and he has come around to score twice. So we've been hypothesizing throughout this game. Where were Livesey and LeBrouillet this weekend? All Centenary cares about is that they're back for game 3. And those numbers I just read to you, along with the fact that LeBrouillet tied this game up, show why they were missing them in games 1 and 2. Giroux checking on Menard over there at first, not going anywhere. Now the breaking ball, strike 2. Giroux right back on the rubber. Rocking back and forth, now steadies it. The 1-2, fastball high, fouled back. Been a great crowd today. An even better crowd really last night, providing an excellent atmosphere as Giroux checks in on the runner. Every time you get that wide angle view of the field, you might catch a lot of fans leaning over the railing near the new Tiger bullpen. Also get that view, of course, behind home. Lots of Centenary fans in attendance joining the Trinity faithful, and here Livesey sending it the other way. Preston gets it and makes the catch, bangs up against the wall before tossing it back in. Ty Preston continues to shine defensively and saves Durow from another one.
He really does here, being able to get all the way out there. That's a tough catch, and then to bounce off the wall and get the throw back in, chasing the runner back to first, that could be a very, very big help to Durow.
I think what we have learned this weekend is if a ball is in the ballpark, hit to the outfield, more often than not, the Tiger defenders are going to get to it. The only problem this inning was when it left the ballpark.
Yeah, if it leaves the ballpark, you don't get a chance to make a play on it. That's what really can kill you right there.
2 outs, 1 runner on for Gary Hewitt. The super senior tries to check his swing, but does not. An excellent afternoon for him. 2 for 2, driven in 1, scored 1. He's got Menard at first, already 1 across for Centenary thanks to the Van Gorkum home run. Durow trying to limit it to just that. Is 1-1 to Hewitt. Lifted towards the right center field gap, and it falls between Gore and the second baseman Baker. Not a lot of room there, but he found the perfect spot of turf there, and the trouble just continues for Harrison Durow.
And that was a really good piece of hitting there. Just small ball, play small ball, get the runner over, get yourself on. You have 2 outs, you need to put a ball on the ground. You can't sack fly. So just keep playing small ball, get as many runs in as possible. They can go deep, they can play it small, they can do just about anything for this gentleman's offense.
And now you've got the dangerous 3-hole hitter, Joby Boone, 2 away, 2 on. Centenary up 2. A darted fastball for strike 1. Joby Boone, the comparison made by his head coach to Hunter Pence, saying it isn't always pretty, it isn't how you draw it up, but he gets the job done. He always barrels a baseball, and despite struggling this weekend, has a chance to help Centenary break it open. The 0-1 swing and a miss by Boone. Transferring from Delgado Community College and making an immediate impact in Shreveport. Durow trying to sit him down, 0-2. Pettit sets up outside. Durow fires, gets it out there, but laid off of by Boone. Pettit hit it right back out there. Durow checking on Menard, now delivering towards home. The breaking ball chopped to third. Holloway ranges over. The throw in time for out number 3. But the Gents get a long ball, courtesy of Zachary Van Gorkum, to put themselves up 2. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th. Tigers looking to get back in it. Montreza shows bunt to start the sixth. Tigers looking for anything to spark their offense back up. They scored 7 yesterday, 6 earlier today, and it was looking good with 5 on the board off Primo. But all of a sudden, Reed, Primo looking like the ace that he is.
He really is, and he's looking to shut down the Tigers for another inning. And Michael Montreza and this Tiger offense wanting to get back on the board here and try to tie this game up.
A good start so far for Montreza, 2-0. Looking to add to his 2-for-2 day, and he's come around to score both of those times. So clearly an impact being made by the fifth-year senior. Low and in, ball 3, trying to be the catalyst for a rally. Tigers still have 12 outs to work with. That is plenty in the bottom of the 6th. Primo guns it down the middle for strike 1. Down 2, no real reason to swing down 3-0. Now 3-1, perfectly capable of getting one to hit, and he got one, but still staring at it for strike 2. So now a more difficult pickle for Montreza, 3-2.
Yeah, full count here. Watch that one go kind of down the middle. I'm surprised he didn't take a swing at that one.
Now the sweeper, Montreza swings at it. Menard handles it and makes the clean throw for out number 1. Primo fell behind, 3 balls, no strikes, but not a problem for him. Jack Peterson, 1 for 2 today, looking to turn the lineup over as he so often does and put his speed on the base paths. Third baseman playing in, aware of the bunt threat. Ball 1 to the center fielder. One that looked a bit away is a called strike. Peterson in agreement with it though, accepts that call, and it's 1-1. Strike zones have been very consistent throughout the weekend. Primo looking to go back outside. Peterson meets it there though, serves it the opposite field and takes it off the scoreboard for a home run. Jack Peterson has been flirting with a home run for a while, and he finally gets one to pull the Tigers within 1.
Maybe a bit of destiny right there on Primo's 100th pitch. Jack Peterson takes it off the scoreboard. You see it here. Bam, right there. Launches it all the way to left field off the scoreboard, and all the gents can do is watch as that one leaves the park.
And these Tigers throwing themselves a taco party this weekend. 2 Oppo tacos. Peterson joining Brandon Nelson. And just like that, the energy back in the ballpark in the Trinity dugout. The curveball, a strike to Ezra Gore. But we mentioned plenty of baseball still to play. The Tigers down just 1. Primo, like you mentioned, Reed, over the century mark with deliveries. Centenary, though, doesn't have a whole lot of fresh arms in that bullpen. And an adjustment on the angle for Primo. His delivery has changed, at least on that one, to Gore. Now the 1-1 goes back to that 3/4 slide and nearly hits Gore. Maybe trying to toy with the minds of the Tigers, but in this inning, not too fooled. What slot does he go to on 2-1? Back to that sidearm delivery, foul towards the Centenary bullpen. And someone must have made a good catch out there, because the Tiger dugout erupted. Maybe a fan? Not quite sure. But either way, 2-2 the count to Ezra Gore. 1 away, nobody on in the bottom of the 6th. Tigers down 1. Primo back to his new delivery in this 6th inning, but it misses low. So as he has crossed 100 pitches, Primo switching up the looks. Now he goes back sidearm, the 3-2, the other way for Gore, sending the right fielder towards the warning track, but he makes the catch for out number 2.
Corn out there. Good to muscle it out there from Gore. You can see how strong he is when he does so. A lot of opposite field hitting for the Tigers today, as that one was very far into opposite field, but as it stands now, Gore gets retired.
Ty Preston and his speed looking to get something going with 2 outs. With Primo, the concern never really is fatigue. His first delivery to Preston fouled back into the net. Coach Diaz describing his pitching staff's mentality as one in which they don't accept sore arms. And you see it with the likes of Primo, Jacob Broussard, willing to go back-to-back days, willing to go over the century mark like he is. They want to win, and they want to keep their best arms out there. Primo, his 110th pitch, a strike to Preston. Oh, 2 delivery to the left fielder. Fouled away, going down to get it.
And that style of having pitchers pitch a lot of pitches, that's something common here in America. It's something more so common in Japan, but Centenary making use of it here.
You're absolutely right, Reed. American baseball fans so accustomed to the rotation style of pitching and bullpen arms, maybe going twice in a row, but so often you hear the terms load management, especially in the regular season, but the only managing that has been done this weekend is to win. Both Tim Scannell, Mike Diaz want to get a W here. 2 head coaches that consider themselves incredibly close friends. Independently and without collaborating, they told me how much they respect each other. And it goes to show when they talk for about 30 minutes before each game. But right now, each of them want to win, and they're watching Preston really battle this at-bat 1 and 2 after a couple of foul balls. Tim Scannell going as far as saying that he thinks Diaz is the best coach in the conference. That is how much respect he has for him. The 1-2 from Primo misses low and in, 2-2 now. Diaz returning the favor, saying that Scannell is one of his best friends in the entire profession, and he has been coaching for over 20 years now. They met even before Diaz was at Centenary when he was an assistant at Western Michigan. Here Preston sends it to left center field. Hewitt, though, roams over to make the catch. Tigers get one thanks to a Jack Peterson home run, but Centenary still on top by 1 as we head to the 7th inning.
Top of the 7th inning, Gordon against batting for the right fielder number 23, Martinez.
The man of the moment so far for the Gents, Cade LeBrouillet, back in the batter's box. He tied things up at 5 with a 2 RBI double. 1 for 3, but none bigger than that one. Bounces this one to the first baseman. Hastings over to his buddy Duro. 1 out away in the 7th.
And we were talking about the Tiger bench erupting in cheers earlier. Well, our man on the roof, Adam Mann, one of our camera operators, got a foul ball that went to the roof of the Bell Center, as balls so often do here at this field. Got a little cheer from all the Tigers in the dugout.
So you're telling me Adam does a fantastic job manning the camera and giving you all those great looks that you see on your screen, and he can catch foul balls in the process?
He can do it all, man.
And isn't he controlling pretty much 2 cameras up there? I know one is basically stationary, but then the other one that moves, he's controlling that one fully, so he just puts his hand up and catches it. That's athleticism.
It's true athleticism up there. He is a great camera operator. I think he's one of the best.
That is high praise coming from someone who has been on the camera for a couple of years now. Reed, you're not so bad yourself. Now on the broadcast with us, watching this Duro breaking ball nearly hit the right-handed hitter, Kimstedt.
Big rainbow over Kimstedt's back over there. Worked his way into a very favorable count.
Duro taking his time. Now the 3-0 right down Broadway for strike 1. Kimstedt, along with Hewitt, the 2 seniors in this starting lineup. And Coach Diaz saying that they're not just examples as senior leaders, but they're examples because of how they play the game. The fact that they focus on defense first and then do all the little things well, like getting a base hit into left field to put a runner on for a Centenary. But they go the extra mile, take that extra bag, move the runner over. We've seen Hewitt bunt over and over this weekend. He said it really changed the freshmen's perspective when they came into Centenary and they see those guys doing the little things. So then they say, oh, we should also do the little things. And it kind of explains why, despite just 3 home runs now on the year, the Centenary Gents find themselves with a winning record.
It's those small things in baseball that really, really matter. Whether it's a strike, a ball, making this small adjustment, that small adjustment, those can mean the world in a game, a season, and a career. And for the Gents, they are really good at making those small adjustments. They're really good fundamentally.
Runner going, but he'll have to head back after the foul ball from fourth. Lenny Forth, one of those freshmen who have gotten to see the example set by Hewitt and Kimstedt. But how many times have we said freshmen this weekend? You've got Ickes, you've got Forth, you've got Livesey, Pitts, truly making their presence felt in Shreveport. And Cole said it last night. Now you're here with us, Reed. I'm sure you would agree that it's scary for most in the SCAC to think that Centenary is already this good and they're mostly comprised of freshmen.
Absolutely. When you can be this good, this young, you look into the future, and I bet some of the seniors on this Tiger team are like telling the underclassmen, good luck.
Oh, and I guess Tyler Herrera, he's such an old gun. He's a sophomore. So plenty of sunshine ahead in Shreveport. Right here, the 2-2 line foul as the runner taking off. For Harrison Duro, the mission, keep it a 1-run game. Let the Tiger offense get to work. They've put up a total of 19 runs in these 3 games. They need at least 1 more, but Duro has to keep it there. The 2-2 from him, chopped up the middle. Montreza, a late toss to Baker. Good thing for them that they communicated late, since they got at least 1 out at second. Won't turn the double play, but an important out of the lead runner.
Yeah, you see it on the play there that it was a bit of a They're very close to each other, so the toss just didn't really have an alley to get through. Can't get the double play, but getting the lead runner out, very important. Puts 2 outs on the board.
So here comes Van Gorkum. Big swing and a miss there. But we already saw the other end of that big swing when he does connect. He hit it over the left field fence for a solo home run, currently the difference in the ballgame. Waves at that one outside, falls behind 0-2 to Duro. Duro, when he is at his best, has that strikeout pitch working. Right behind Jack Martinez when it comes to Ks per 9 innings. Looking for one here. The 0-2 for Duro. Battled away, foul. Nearly hitting someone in the Centenary dugout, and it may have gotten a piece of someone. Hopefully it didn't, because that was a scorcher. Gents still checking in on each other, but it looks like everyone's okay. So we'll resume 0-2. Van Gorkum at the plate. 4th at first, 2 away with Centenary up 1 in the 7th. DeRose 0-2, popped foul. Jack Martinez talking to him earlier today, even though he had that electric outing yesterday in which he struck out a few gents, said that it was kind of frustrating after that first inning because the gents just wouldn't go away. They always foul pitches off, and we're seeing it from Van Gorkum here. This time it's put in play. Peterson didn't see it at first. Now he does. Runs in along the maroon tee and makes the catch for out number 3. Time to stretch in San Antonio. Tigers hoping for a comeback.
Bottom of the 7th inning for the Tigers, batting third, first baseman number 44, Corson Hastings.
If you thought Parker Primo's day was done a while ago, you were wrong. He is still out there, pitch number 117. And it'll keep climbing in the bottom of the 7th as he faces the 3, 4, 5 hitters. Hastings, Baker, Pettit, due for the Tigers, looking to make some noise. Low strike goes to Primo, and it doesn't seem like he has lost much, Reed.
Not at all. Even when he's over 118 pitches in, he seems like how he was. He seems better than what he was near the beginning. He's really caught fire here in the latter half of this game.
Misses wide of the zone there to bring it to 1-2 on Hastings. He won't do it this weekend, but he is approaching quite the milestone in Centenary history as the 1-2 foul towards the Tiger bullpen, and it goes out of play. Primo 3 saves away from the all-time record in Centenary baseball history. But today, the starting pitcher looking for a W. It would be the 16th of his career. The 1-2 grounded back to the pitcher. Primo showing the athleticism and getting the out. A couple of tough plays that he has made, bouncing off of the mound.
Yeah, tough play there. Falls down and is still able to make the play. And it's really impressive what he's doing, because now we have batters seeing him for a 4th time, and he's still being very effective against all of them.
Cleanup hitter Jack Baker stepping to the plate now. No one on, one away in the bottom of the 7th. Primo, the sweeper, catches the corner, strike 1. And this seems like a good moment to give a shout out to someone who's been very helpful all weekend long, and someone who every time Trinity plays Centenary has been extremely helpful. As broadcasters, Reed and I, Cole, last night, we all do tons of research to try to find things on our own, but Centenary's SID, Patrick Meehan, has provided a great hand, whether it's been basketball or volleyball or now baseball, always giving us some good tidbits. As here, Jack Baker beats out a throw that is dropped at first base by Van Gorkum. Somehow, the second time we've seen this weekend, a ball just dropped by the first baseman. You see a throw from Menard, picked, but then it wasn't. And there's going to be a discussion between Mike Diaz and the umpire, explaining that, in his view, likely didn't see it in the glove securely, so a break for the Tigers, get Speedy Baker on first. But once again, a shout out to Patrick Meehan, working in communications for the athletic department at Centenary. Thank you for all your help. It is very much appreciated.
It really is. And when he sends things, it's not just a pronunciation guide, it's little blurbs about players that are so helpful for us.
Yeah, I can easily say that is not the standard across the sport and across all the sports that we get to do on Tiger Network. So he really goes above and beyond. Tyler Pettit, the man at the plate, now has a runner on first. Looked like it was going to be 2 outs, nobody on. That's what the graphic even shows, but there's 1 away in the bottom of the 7th, and Baker is at first. Primo delivers to Pettit, waits back on the breaking ball, and he sends it out of play to the Centenary bullpen. Likely won't want to throw many more hanging breaking balls to Tyler Pettit, though. Primo continues to shift back and forth between a more regular looking angle and that 3/4 delivery. Submarine style. What does he go to here? It is to the side. He does hang a breaking ball, but Pettit can't send it very far. Boone underneath it for the 2nd out.
Good pitch here. You see Pettit just gets under it, lifts it up there, and despite that home run in the 2nd that he gave up to Pettit, he's been very nice against him ever since then. And now he's going up against a batter who he struck out twice.
Has struck out twice today, but he was the party planner for the taco party. Brandon Nelson got it going yesterday with that opposite field homer off of Tyler Herrera, lefty on lefty crime. Looking to repeat it against the tough righty Primo. His 128th pitch of the evening, a ball to start this at bat.
We mentioned that he's looking at 2 different forms of pitching. I wonder if that's discussed to get him further in the game.
Could very well be. Goes with the sidearm, gets a foul ball from Nelson, 1-1. Baker over there at first had been perfect when it came to stolen bases, 5 for 5, but an awkward jump earlier today caught him by a mile. He does have that capability, though. Primo keeping an eye on him. Taking time. Lots of time. Now a quick delivery, and it's way off. And that time it was clear that Baker is in his head because he tried to get the ball quickly to home, and it was way outside.
Yeah, trying to do maybe a little pitch out there. You can really see the mental effect that Baker is having on Primo.
Almost hits the elbow of Nelson. Instead, a commanding 3-1 lead for Brandon Nelson. He'll be looking for something to drive. Holloway on deck, not someone the Centenary pitching staff wants to face either. So what will it be from Primo to Nelson? That one gets to the top of the zone, away for 3-2 now. So Baker will be off with this one. 3-2 with 2 away in the 7th. Centenary hanging on to a 1-run lead. Primo's 3-2, bounce towards short. Kimstedt has it, has to make the throw. A pick this time collected by Van Gorkum. So the Gents struggle a little bit defensively, but Primo able to escape. They hold on to their 1-run lead as we go to the 8th.
That was the 8th inning for the Jets. Batting 8, the catcher number 5, Caleb Ickey.
The catcher, Caleb Ickey's at the plate to start off the top of the 8th. Harrison DeRoe still in there. His 3rd inning of work. And it begins with 1 in the turf for ball 1. Now, Reed, you've been over at softball, right? So you have been calling games for the Centenary ladies.
That is correct.
But that's not the mascot this team has, is it?
I don't think it is.
No, I mean, all weekend we've been saying Centenary Gents, short for gentlemen. And I think it's about time we explain why. Don't you think?
I think so too.
It's our favorite part of every series. It's mascot story time. As Ickey's ahead in the count 2-0 on DeRoe. The gentleman trying to steal a win. A strike there to Ickey's. A program that has been around a long time. Football established at Centenary College back in 1921. And at that time, their president, George Sexton, had some words for a football team that had just gotten into a fight in their previous game. He went down and talked to the team the next day and said, "From now on, you will all act like gentlemen." Yearbook caught wind of that. They mentioned the word gentleman alongside the football team, and it stuck after some success. And so from then on, they have been known as the Centenary Gentlemen. Now, when they added women's sports in the 1960s, they found it fitting to call their teams the ladies. And so that's why we have the Centenary Gentlemen and the ladies.
We really come full circle here. It's amazing how old that the institution is, how long sports have been around at Centenary.
They are the oldest liberal arts school west of the Mississippi River. And they have not always been at the D3 level. In fact, just over a decade ago, they were competing in D1 against some of the biggest names in college sports as Clay Menard gets one over to left field for a base hit. So after a strikeout to start the 8th, DeRoe gives up a single. They were in the Summit League as of 2010, but then they made the trip down to Division III. Coach Diaz has been there to oversee that entire transition, and he said it was at first pretty much a bummer for a lot of people at the university, but then he said that along with his family had to make the decision Are we going to give it our best effort to do what we can to win here, even at the D3 level, or do we go somewhere else? And he said that with his family, they decided to stay in Shreveport and build a winning program there, and that is exactly what he has done. After the base hit that Duro allowed, his night is over. So a change on the way for the Tigers, but we will stick around here because they almost knew it was story time for the broadcast, didn't they, Reed?
Yeah, they certainly did. They're giving us a prime opportunity here.
It's very interesting that the story of the gentleman originates with a brawl that their president was not a fan of. We have mentioned it a few times that the Centenary gents this weekend are coming off 2 bench-clearing brawls last week. Those were against the University of Dallas. They led to a couple of suspensions that we have hinted at as well, with LeBrouillet and Livesey not appearing until this final game. But thankfully, at least so far this weekend, no brouhahas in San Antonio.
Yeah, not so far, and hopefully we keep it clean going out here in the end of this 3rd game. Play like gentlemen.
Play like gentlemen and play like Tigers. That's all we want. We want the action on the field, not any extracurriculars, and that is really something that both teams have had to talk about going into this weekend. It might sound like we're making light of it or something on Tiger Network, but we're really not. Coach Scannell had to have a conversation with his team about this series coming up, acknowledging what happened, acknowledging that there may be jarring back and forth, and that he really wants them to stick to just playing baseball.
Yeah, stick to playing baseball. It's also a funny thing that it originated from the football team, something that Centenary currently doesn't have anymore.
But they will have soon. At least that is the plan. They are bringing back Centenary football in Shreveport. They, along with the Shriner Mountaineers, 2 SCAC members that have not had football, but they are adding it. But right now, all we are concerned about, the diamond, the baseball diamond. That is Jack Breezy, the latest to answer the call to the bullpen and looking to keep Centenary where they're at. There's a runner at first. Menard singled with 1 away, and Centenary looking to add to their lead. First pitch to Livesey, ball 1.
Good to hold up on the swing there.
Breezy working quickly, gets the 1-0 outside, so it's 2-0 now to the freshman. One of those that missed a couple to start this series, but ever since he has been back, Centenary thriving. Big hack at that one, but just a foul tip to bring it to 2-1.
And you know the conversation is going to be that, hey, if these 2 are in the lineup, maybe the series looks a little bit different. But that'll have to wait for a potential SCAC tournament matchup.
Catching the corner there is Breezy to even the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. That matchup did happen all of last year up in Cleburne. Centenary pulling it out, the reigning champions. Here, a ground ball to second, over to short, and on to first. A double play for Jack Breezy, and he is fired up. Tigers have 6 outs to work with to get 1 run to tie it up.
Christian Holloway.
You guessed it, Parker Primo still on the mound, and the first pitch swinging Holloway sends it out of play. Very thankful he is to get another opportunity. But what was it, the 5th inning-ish, in which we thought Primo was done. He had a couple of arms warming up in the bullpen, and there's still a couple of arms warming up in the bullpen, but if Coach Diaz has his wish, they might stay there.
Could complete the game at this rate. He's been really on fire in this latter part of the game down the stretch. And these Tiger bats, they need to come up with some sort of answer, string some hits together if they want to have a chance of getting the tying run and winning the game ultimately.
Primo's 1-1 hangs up a little too long. Holloway gets a piece of it and singles it to center. Great start for the Tigers, courtesy of Christian Holloway. Now Michael Montreza will look to pass the baton. That is the symbol that Coach Scannell has used as of late, wanting his Tigers to pass that baton within an inning. Get at least 3 hits per frame. He thinks that will lead to runs, and this weekend they have. And will we see a change? Sound the alarm. I think Parker Primo's done.
The sky is falling, Brian.
Maybe not yet. There's a meeting at the mound. No signal. We've got head coach Mike Diaz and the entire Centenary infield having a conversation. Diaz, the Pacific Northwest native, he's a Seattle Mariners fan. When we were having a conversation, he was watching your Texas Rangers, Reed, because he said that's all he had to watch. But he is Pacific Northwest, true and true. That's where he played his college ball, up in Idaho. Spent time as an assistant, as we mentioned, at Western Michigan. But for almost 20 years now, has been in Louisiana. First as an assistant, now as a head coach. He won't get there anymore this weekend, but needs 3 wins to become the winningest head coach in program history. The push bunt will go foul, so Montreza will try it again.
And Primo stays in. He just wants to pitch a couple of more innings. I think Coach Diaz is willing to let him. But of course, they don't want for this game to go the other way, so maybe telling him that he's got a tighter leash than usual.
So we pulled that alarm, it went off, but then we have to turn it back off because Primo's not out of the game. He's still there, 137 pitches later. Whether he wins or loses, just a truly remarkable effort by the senior. Montreza showing bunt, but has to pull it back. From Lake Charles, Louisiana, Primo no doubt grew up wanting to play college ball, and he has gotten to stay in his Bayou State. It's been a pretty good 24 hours for Louisiana sports fans. LSU making the championship, the women's basketball D1 tournament. Centenary trying to add to the happiness. Montreza's bunt down. Throw made to first, gets him in time, but Montreza, job well done. Runner moved over to second with the bunt.
Does his job, does the sacrifice bunt very well. Textbook bunt right here. And now the Tigers have the runner in scoring position. But the biggest question is, can they bring him in?
That's now 13 sacrifice bunts for the Tigers this year after a total of 21 a year ago. So they're approaching that one quickly. And I think now we can safely sound the alarm. A second visit to the mound. And you can see the smile. The fist bump with his catcher. And finally, Parker Primo, 139 pitches in, 7 1/3 His day is done. The Tigers have a runner on second with one away, down one. Tying run in scoring position after this break.
Now pitching for the Jets, number 4, Cody Myers.
The Tigers have to be thrilled to see someone other than Parker Primo on the mound, although they did get to him pretty early and did put up 6 runs, but he had been dominating of late. So, Jack Peterson, the first to face Cody Myers, who throws a breaking ball. If you've been with us all day, you'll recognize Cody Myers. Maybe seems like yesterday, since we've been here all day, but nope, that was in game 1. Cody Myers went 2 1/3, only allowed 1 hit. A really impressive showing from the freshman. But he has the tying run at second in the form of Cedric Bowman, the pinch runner, who will now mosey on over to third after the pass ball / wild pitch. We'll find out. Either way, it got past the catcher.
It gets past the catcher there, and now you cannot do that again under any circumstance because Bowman is fast. You get another one behind the catcher, he can definitely score.
Myers, the living, breathing embodiment of what we have talked all weekend long. A bulldog mentality that Coach Diaz wants, and how he says no sore arms. Literally, he pitched earlier, yet here he is again in a big spot. The freshman loops in a breaking ball for strike 1. Diaz saying that when the young guys see Primo and Herrera battle it out, they want to do the same. It makes them unafraid to pick up the rock. And Myers, the freshman from Friendswood, gets the rock here. The 2-1, a breaking ball fouled by Peterson.
And right now, Peterson just trying to put a ball in play that'll score Bowman. Doesn't need to be anything flashy, but the last thing he can do is strike out here.
He is so fast as a runner, and he's been putting the ball in play as of late. The 2-2, Peterson won't do it here, though. In a massive moment, Myers gets the strikeout.
A great pitch there to go to, as you see on the replay. Just loses all of it, breaks the table, swing and a miss. It was easy as that, and now Myers in a very good position.
And that was an impressive showing on multiple fronts, as the decision comes from the dugout to walk Ezra Gore intentionally, so he'll take first with no problem. Runners at the corners now with 2 away. But you have the infield in, so you know you kind of have to have a strikeout to keep the game where it's at. And you have a runner at third with the infield in. But to throw that breaking ball that could go in the turf and to the backstop, that shows a lot of trust in Ickes. And Myers walking Gore to bring up the lefty-on-lefty matchup. We just saw how difficult it was for Peterson. Will Preston fare any better? Another rainbow of a breaking ball, this time low and away for ball 1. Myers so focused, of course, on the hitter, but he can't lose track of Gore at first. The 1-0 sweeps away, ball 2. Icky saying, calm it down a little bit, get back to the strike zone. Tigers winning the first 2 games of this series. Have the tying run 90 feet away. Ty Preston back from an injury, ahead 2-0. And it's 3-0. Another lefty on deck in Corson Hastings. A lefty currently at the plate doing a great job. Ahead in the count, 3 balls, no strikes. Score at first. Bowman at third. There's a strike for Myers. It's been loud all weekend long, but you can hear it quiet down for this tense moment. Hickey's setting up inside. Myers pitch, a strike. Gore will be off with the 3-2 delivery. 2 away in the 8th, and the Tigers down 1, trying to tie it up. The 3-2 fouled away. That breaking ball that got Peterson not fooling Preston there.
Staying alive. This is one of, if not the most important at-bat that the Tigers have had so far.
The 3-2 once more from Myers. Low ball 4, and it gets away. Bowman in to score. Tie ball game, Trinity. Disastrous sequence for Centenary. A pretty harmless walk, but then the wild pitch to tie it up.
You see the pitch here, just in the turf. Too much for Ickes to handle. Gets away from him, and that was the last thing that could happen if you're the Gents.
Hunter Nevels now will pinch hit for Corson Hastings, but a visit to the mound. Cody Myers did his job. He struck out Peterson, the intentional walk to bring up the lefty. But after that wild pitch, we are tied up at 7. We'll take a break as Myers exits the game, and Trinity all tied up with Centenary.
batting in the number 3 position, number 37, Hunter Neville.
More no sore arm mentality. Jacob Broussard in there for back-to-back outings. His first pitch, a strike to the pinch hitter Hunter Nevels, and what a weapon for Coach Gannell to have off the bench. No one on more of a roll than the Corpus Christi native. He has runners at first and second, 2 away, looks at a breaking ball for ball 1. An average, if you can even say, dipping below 400, but that is just how on fire Nevels has been. He is riding a 7-game hit streak. What a time to extend it to 8 for him here. The 1-1 gets it the other way, but foul. Already has a walk-off single this year. Trying to put the Tigers ahead in the 8th.
And what a spot for Broussard here, having to go up against one of the hottest Trinity bats here in what is probably the defining moment of the game.
Hickey's wants it high. He got it high. Ball 2. Broussard, yet another freshman. He is from Houston, Texas. Back in the Lone Star State. There's a lot of Centenary fans in the stands. Would be more than likely that his family is out there to watch him pitch. 2 men on, tie ball game with a 2-2 count. The pitch to Nevels, swing and a miss, strike 3. Broussard comes in and shuts down Nevels, but the Tigers tie it up at 7 thanks to a wild pitch that allowed Cedric Bowman to score. So we head to the top of the 9th inning. Centenary 7, Trinity 7. Brand new ball game in the Alamo City. Start off the 9th inning with a breezy strike to Gary Hewitt. Hewitt is 3 for 3, driven in 1, scored 1, and trying to get his Gents going after they gave up the lead. Fouled away by Hewitt. A dramatic sequence in the bottom of the 8th. Ty Preston drew a walk with the full count, but it didn't stop there. The wild pitch got away from Ickes, and Cedric Bowman scored the tying run. Now Breezy rings him up with strike 3 called. The sophomore from Danville, Kentucky, doing his job so far out of the bullpen.
Yeah, good strikeout there. As, you know, Pettit was kind of set up a little bit outside, I thought, but the ball just caught the zone, and they just freeze the batter.
Breezy came in against Mary Hardin Baylor on Tuesday. He went 3 innings, gave up 3 hits. And the 2 runs that were charged to him came in off of DeRoe, but they did go against Breezy's line, so he did take the loss at the end of that. Misses with the ball to take it 2-0. But what a sign of confidence for Breezy. Just a sophomore to get this big moment. But in more ways than one, is really just a freshman because last year missed all of the season with Tommy John surgery. So just 7 1/3 innings coming into today, but he fires in a strike to try to get back in this count, 3-1. Quickly working to Boone, now a full count. Breezy's delivery, inside out swing, headed to right, and it falls, but Gore can't get it. He tried to stop it as it hopped over his head, and Boone turns a single into a two-bagger. Very rare mistake in the outfield by Ezra Gore puts the go-ahead run in scoring position.
That one muscled out there and maybe just not bouncing how Gore expected. Ate him up out there.
And baseball writes its own scripts. Cade LeBrouillet missed the first 2 games of this series after being in the middle of the dust-up with Dallas last weekend. But he is back for Game 3. He tied it up at 5 earlier with a 2-bagger that drove in 2. And he finds himself with a runner at second, 1 away in the top of the 9th. Tyler Pettit sensing that big moment, and he wants to talk to his young pitcher.
Good opportunity to talk here. Calm everything down. The game-leading run for Centenary on second, but the last thing that you want your young pitcher to do is panic. So a good job for Pettit to go and try and calm him down.
What's amazing is how different 2 sophomores can be. For Breezy, basically still a freshman, as we just described, missing all of last year, but for the sophomore LeBrouillet, head coach Mike Diaz saying that basically with all the freshmen on this roster, he has turned into a leader. Whether it's on or off the field, the cleanup hitter making a name for himself and causing all of this that we're seeing. A visit from the catcher, now a visit from pitching coach Dave Smith, and ultimately a change. And guess who for the Tigers? We thought he might have been done yesterday, but he is not. Jack Martinez gets the rock, maybe picking up a little bit of that no sore arm mentality. We'll take a brief pause on Tiger Network to see if he can do it again. Well, folks, if you've been tuning in all weekend, you know the storyline. Jack Martinez yesterday came in the most difficult situation you can imagine. 2 runners in scoring position, nobody out, and a 3-1 count. What did he do? He struck out the side. Today, needed in another huge spot, and he gets a swinging strike out of LeBrouillet. Go-ahead run at second base in the form of Joby Boone. And the cleanup hitter, LeBrouillet, at the plate. The 0-1 to him. The changeup just drops off the table for strike 2. We have not seen Martinez in back-to-back days like this, but he is needed. The 0-2, this time the changeup laid off of by LeBrouillet. Martinez threw over 60 pitches last night. Helped close the game down for the Tigers. He has the 1-2 to LeBrouillet, line the other way into the outfield for a base hit. Preston charging in. The throw to the cutoff man leaves runners at the corners with one away. LeBrouillet comes through again.
A good piece of hitting from LeBrouillet there. The only solace that the Tigers have is that the run did not come in to score. Runners on the corners, potential double play that the Tigers could get. But if you're Centenary, you just want to ride this momentum and get that run in.
What a difference LeBrouillet has made today. And now with one away, the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Martinez checking on LeBrouillet at first, and he has the shortstop to deal with. Kimstedt, 3 for 4. 6 hits between him and Hewitt. The senior leaders showing how it's done. Strike 1 to Kimstedt. LeBrouillet over there at first. 7 stolen bases on the year. Has only been caught once. So maybe trying to cause some chaos over there. There he goes. But the foul ball will send him back. Yesterday, he used a bit of everything. The fastball, the changeup that drops off, and the slider that wipes away. There's the slider this time, and it's strike 3 for Martinez.
Wow, just a disgusting pitch there. What a break, what a pitch. What are you gonna do if you're a batter? You're just gonna swing, you're gonna miss, and you're just gonna think, what happened?
Lenny Forth now with 2 away, runners at the corners in this tie ball game. 0 for 4. It's been a tough weekend. He saw his 10-game hit streak snapped earlier today. First pitch to him, breaking ball, strike 1. Breaking ball, strike 2. The 6'4" sophomore from Corpus Christi delivers the 0-2, up and in, ball 1. Right back on the rubber. The 1-2 from Martinez. Foul the other way. Forth doing his best to stay alive. LeBrouillet has to make the long trek back to first. Now everyone's ready. A check on LeBrouillet. Popped up towards center field. Peterson coming in. Makes the catch for out number 3. Martinez does it again, escapes trouble, and the Tigers will come up to bat in the 9th, looking to walk it off. Jacob Broussard back out there for the bottom of the ninth. Loops in a breaking ball to start his at-bat with Jack Baker. The gentleman from Centenary College, 7 runs on the board. The Trinity Tigers with 7 right with them. And they're looking for one more for a sweep. Can Baker get it started? The 0-1 breaking ball off the plate, ball 1. Baker 0 for 3, struck out. But he reached on an error. It's causing some commotion on the base paths, but ultimately was kept at first. He awaits the 1-1, swings over the top of that one from Broussard. Broussard, the freshman, has now appeared in 7 of Centenary's last 10 ball games. Talk about no sore arms. Broussard's 1-2 to Baker, swing and a miss, strike 3. A battle of willpower right now. 2 pitchers on the mound that have both been on the mound yesterday and now today. If you didn't think these teams wanted it, you have had your answer. Doing whatever it takes to pull out. For Trinity, what they hope is a sweep. For Centenary, salvaging one more game. Pettit lays off of ball 1. He is 1 for 3 with a home run. He homered in this one. He homered in game 1 of the doubleheader. Had none of those coming into today, but he had 11 last year. As the power bat officially made it back to San Antonio for Pettit. The 1-0 to the catcher, strike 1 on the corner.
Very fickle situation right now. It always is when you're in the bottom of the 9th, and any run from the home team wins the game. Right now, Centenary looking to push it into extra innings.
First team all-conference, first team all-region. Pettit waits back, but grounds it to short. Kimstead gobbles it up. This time the throw in the chest of Van Gorkum for out number 2.
See, able to get the ground ball out of Pettit. It was a good pitch to do so.
Nelson, the last hope for the Tigers in the bottom of the 9th, or else we'll have some extra baseball. Broussard's pitch to Nelson on the way. Strike on the inner half. Oh for 3 today, so Brandon Nelson quieting down just a tad. But it's been a thunderous weekend for the sophomore. Takes the 0-1, this time on top of the zone, says the home plate umpire, so 1-1 the count. Nelson had just 1 hit during his freshman year. That came in the first weekend of the year against Wash U. He has significantly more than 1. Several of them coming this weekend now as a sophomore. The 1-1 blown past Nelson. Now 1-2 for Broussard. One of several sophomores getting more playing time. Lazera, Lustina, Max Milligan, and Nelson, one of those. Broussard's 1-2. Delivery to Nelson. Underneath the hands. Even count now, 2-2. Hickey's creeping in with his set. Broussard can't get it in, though. It's up for ball 3, a full count. Those sophomores I just named always seem to be the first to practice. Told them this recently. They are a group that sticks together. They're part of the Trinity future. Nelson trying to make it the present. The 3-2 to Nelson. Swing and a miss. Another K for Broussard. 3 of them now. And we are headed to extra innings. Centenary, Trinity, it's been so good we want just a little bit more. And we'll have extras for you on Tiger Network.
Having the 10th inning for the Mets. Batting seventh, first base number 22, Zachary Gorka.
27 innings, not enough to decide the series between Centenary and Trinity. We need a 10th at least to decide Game 3. Martinez still on the mound. Van Gorkum, the hitter to start it off. Low in the turf, 4-2. Martinez falling behind. The pinch hitter, who now is making his third plate appearance, but the first time he came in, he walloped one for a home run to left. He's got a hitter's count. The 2-0 dropped in a slider for a strike. There's another slider. Martinez reaches up, finds the baseball, and makes the throw to Kai Tinker, newly in defensively. That's out number 1 for the 10th.
Easy as pie right there. And now that we're in extra innings, Centenary, it's their first extra inning game since the third game against Texas Lutheran. They lost that one in 10 innings, 6-3. And for the Tigers, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is their first extra inning game this year.
Thinking back to that Birmingham Southern series, they did go into extra innings against the Panthers. Seems like forever ago, as Martinez sees this push bunt go way foul. The pinch hitter is the catcher, Jake Gauntz. We've seen him plenty this weekend. Did not start Game 2 of the doubleheader. Not like Tyler Pettit, who has caught both ends, giving Gauntz a little bit of a rest, but now here he is. Beautiful changeup, gets a swing and a miss for Martinez. He's ahead in the count. That was a 10-inning affair between Birmingham Southern and Trinity. The Panthers coming out on top 7-6. Martinez goes upstairs, misses with the fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That was a game that the Tigers desperately wanted at the time, and looking back at it, they had it right there. They had 14 hits to Birmingham Southern 6, yet it went against them. Trying to flip the script, though, against Centenary in games that, at the end of the day, do matter a little bit more since they're within the conference. Tigers trying to improve to 7-2. That'll help. Strike 3 called on the corner. Gauntz down looking.
Just absolutely freezing Gauntz there. Martinez has been on fuego right now.
Trinity did have a little bit of a better fortune the very next week in extra innings against Hardin-Simmons, as Martinez just continues to deal in strike after strike. That was a walk-off, the only one we've had this year. Hunter Neville's coming through with a 2 RBI hit. And just look at this changeup, folks. It is dropping into the zone, and the Gents have no idea what to do with it. The 25th pitch of the evening for Martinez is a 3rd strike. Menard hustling down the line, but Pettit takes care of business. Jack Martinez, what else can you say? Just continues to shine. We're headed to the bottom of the 10th, all tied up at 7.
Tigers number 7 o'clock now, second baseman, number 2, Colton Harris.
Bottom of the 10th in San Antonio, Texas. The shadows are approaching the mound. The sun setting, still very hot outside. And trying to remain hot, Colt Harris at the plate. He homered in game 1, and he's pinch hitting in game 2. The first pitch to Harris, a breaking ball for the strike. Harris hasn't had the average where he wants it, but he does have 3 home runs. He is tied for the team lead with Holloway and Nelson. Hickey showing he wants it in. Broussard headed there, doesn't get it, but Harris just harmlessly fouls it towards the dugout.
And we talk about how important this game is, because even if Centenary wins this one game, it's very important when it comes to the standings, because right now everybody's chasing the Pirates of Southwestern with that 8-1 record. So a Trinity sweep here is just that much more to get back at them.
Won't come on this swing. A lazy fly ball to right field, out number 1, as the pinch hitter retired in Harris.
You see he gets under it. Can of corn out in right field.
It is certainly worth mentioning, as the Tigers need just 1 swing at this point, that they have had 6 home runs this weekend after 10 coming into the weekend. So 60% of their output matched this weekend alone. Strike 1 delivered to Montreza. It was part of the problem offensively for Trinity, a stacked lineup a year ago that would bash the baseball every night. Returning to form a little bit this weekend, Montreza takes ball 1 outside. A Trinity offense that a year ago averaged over 9.5 runs per game. That was top 10. It's been around 5 all year long. Something Centenary was good at keeping teams under, but not this weekend. As Broussard, another breaking ball, another strike. Coming into this weekend, Centenary allowing just 5 other teams to score more than 5 runs. And that's not really a crazy threshold, which makes it more impressive that they had only allowed 5 teams to do it. But the Tigers have done it all 3 times. All that matters, though, in this last game is who can get 8. A pause here. Someone from the Centenary dugout wanted to give a word of advice to the pitcher. Now everyone is settled in. The 2-2 count with nobody on in the bottom of the 10th to Montreza. Waits back on the breaking ball, but pulls it to his own dugout. Austin Davison catches it on a hop and gets it back into plate. Everyone active today. Broussard readying the 2-2 to the 5th-year senior. Goes with the straight fastball, and it's fouled towards the bullpen.
Montreza just trying to stay alive here. 1 out in the bottom of the 10th. Tigers want to finish this one as soon as possible.
Ring 'em up, says the home plate umpire. It was a delayed call, but one Broussard wanted. Montreza heads back to take a seat, and 2 away now in the 10th. Jack Peterson will step up with nobody on in the bottom of the 10th, and he has shown that he can do it with the bat, and he can do it with his legs. So either way, a threat to Centenary with nobody on. He bashed his first home run of the year. He looks at the first pitch from Broussard, away for ball 1. Coach Gannell describing the power that Peterson has, saying that last year when he homered at UT Dallas in that regional, he quite literally got his phone out in the dugout and checked Google Maps to see where he thought the ball landed. That's how far it went. He hasn't shown it a ton in-game, but anyone who has seen him at practice knows that Peterson is up there with anybody with his home run power. He got his first with opposite field variety, and he's ahead 1-0 on Broussard. Ickes wants it in, but it's over the middle. Peterson can't connect, however. The other problem when it comes to Peterson, when you're an opponent, is speed. So if it's not a home run, and if it's, let's say, a walk or a single, it pretty instantly turns into a double. That's what Broussard is dealing with. The 1-1. Low for ball 2. Got a new catcher out there for Centenary. You saw him hit Jake Gauntz. It had been Ickes all afternoon, and Ickes impressed there with his arm. Gauntz catching the no-hitter from Rychek last week, so both of them a ton of potential. Peterson skies it out towards left center field. In comes the left fielder, Livesey, to make the catch. We're headed to at least one more 11th inning in San Antonio. We're approaching the 7 o'clock hour, but I have nothing else to do. I hope you don't either. Carson Livesey, the leadoff hitter in the lineup, and the leadoff hitter in the 11th, takes one in for ball 1. Jack Martinez began the year as a starting pitcher. So ahead of that Birmingham Southern series, had an extensive conversation with him and have continued to do so as he forces a fly ball towards the opposite way, out of play, foul.
And if we're going to have extra innings in any game of the series, it's best to have it in Game 3. No midweek games this week for the Tigers. They head over to Irving to play University of Dallas.
Little chopper in front of the plate, stays foul for Livesey.
So they don't have to worry about getting arms ready for a Tuesday night game or a Thursday night game even. Get the entire week off.
Gens have that same situation as well. They'll face St. Thomas next, but not before another cave, courtesy of Jack Martinez. He just keeps them coming, doesn't he? That is now 4 in 2 innings, meaning 6 of the outs that he has recorded, 4 of them via the strikeout. He now has the speedy center fielder at the plate, Gary Hewitt. But Martinez, before the year, saying that last year, when he got all sorts of experience in the postseason, what it did more than anything, even though he struggled a little bit, is it took the awe away from big moments. It showed him that, yes, there could be a lot of buzz around a certain game when you're playing at a certain time or against a certain team. But after getting experience in a regional, a super regional, and the World Series, he knows it all. It doesn't get much bigger than that. So in a tie game, no one the Tigers would rather have with the ball than Jack Martinez. Hewitt able to foul this one away, a 1-2 count. Makes complete sense, of course, as Jack Martinez's Tiger career was born with pressure. His 1-2, changeup, strikeout. You can almost say it with me at this point if you're at home. 5 now for Martinez, whose career began with the bases loaded. He had never before appeared in a collegiate game. Yet the Tigers turned to him last year, and he got Yep, you guessed it, a strikeout. And that's been a harbinger of things to come. Barely misses there to Joby Boone. 2 away, nobody on for the Gents. Boone puts it into play towards right field. Gore comes in and he makes the grab. 1, 2, 3 go the Gents. Martinez continues to dominate them. Tigers looking to walk it off once again. First pitch to Ezra Gore in the 11th, a strike. Broussard matching Martinez pitch by pitch. He has gone 2 1/3, struck out 4. And these are 2 young arms. Broussard, a freshman, Martinez, a sophomore. So what we are seeing is a sign of the future for Centenary and Trinity. The sweeper outside evens up the count at 1 for Gore.
And it's a battle of who has the deeper bullpen as you go further into these extra inning games. And right now, if you're Centenary, you want to end the game as fast as possible because Trinity, they got a very large bullpen.
They do have a lot more options than the Gents have, especially since the Gents cut their roster down a little bit to travel over from Shreveport. Broussard setting his 2-1 pitch. Gore fans at it. Gore had a power bat last year, 5 home runs, but he has none this year. Just like Tyler Pettit had when we started this weekend. You know, he would love to put 1 in the home run column and a W at the same time. The 2-2 to Gore, gets a good swing, but fouls it straight back. He's 1 for 4. He has scored and he has driven in a run. Also drawn a walk, so Ezra Gore, the leadoff hitter for the Tigers, doing his best to set the table. And that is his responsibility here in the 11th. Preston and Tinker behind him. Looper was right on the edge of whether it was going to be a strike. Gore didn't want to mess around, though. Stays alive with the foul ball.
And Gore, polarizing for both teams. If you're the Tigers, you really want him on because of his base running potential. And if you're the Gents, he's the last man you want on those bases.
Defense playing straight up. Another 2-2 delivery from Broussard inside. Rolls it to Menard. A long throw from the hot corner. Gets away from the first baseman. Gore circles the base for a moment. Now gets back to first, but an untimely error from Menard. And we have seen it all weekend long. This left side of the Gents infield has struggled to make the throws over to first. And it could not have come at a worse moment here.
And Van Gorkum, pretty tall guy, lengthy build, could not stretch out far enough to try and pick that one.
Pitts has been the first baseman that has collected most of the bat throws, but with him not out there, it gets away. And as you warned, Reed, Gore, the last person the Gents wanted on first base, and now, without a doubt, some sort of action Maybe a bunt, maybe a steal. It's a bunt attempt. The back pick, not in time. Gaunt's trying to catch Gore with a big lead, but not doing so there. Ty Preston analyzing the signs delivered from head coach Tim Scannell, relayed over to third base coach Andrew Waters, and now to the left fielder. He's ready. The 1-0 to him, drops down the bunt, but it's foul. Preston making his first appearance in nearly 2 full weeks. The last time we saw him, March 18th, against Austin College. In fact, that is exactly 2 weeks now that we're in April 1st. He was dealing with a little bit of a hamstring injury, but ready to go today. Has a hit and an RBI. Right now tasked with moving the runner over. Gore has to dive in safely on the pickoff. If you remember earlier in the year, not many are better at putting down bunts than Ty Preston. He had one game where he had a base hit for a bunt and a sacrifice, a hit and run here. Gore off with the throw, and he's in there safely. Preston gave it a hack to maybe just distract the catcher because that looked like a pitch out from the start, yet Gore fast to beat it.
You see the swing there, and then the throw from Gauntz. We'll see it here. And it looks like Gore does get his hand on the base before he gets tagged. Good base running by Gore, and he does what he does best, stealing bases.
Now it clips the jersey of Ty Preston, and worst case scenario for the Gents, not only does Preston have the runner move over during his at-bat, he's on as well. 2 runners on, nobody out in the 11th. And before anything else, we're going to get a visit to the mound from head coach Mike Diaz. And that might be it for Jacob Broussard. He's talking to the umpire as he heads to the mound, and here is Diaz. He's calling in his infield for a conversation. Reed, as you know now, since you've started talking to opposing head coaches as well, there's 2 questions that we all like to ask. What have you been happiest with? And what do you still see as improvement room for your team? And when asked what he sees as something that could improve, he said close games. With such a young team, he doesn't know if they quite know how to win these tough battles, especially against a team like Trinity. Well, this is a close game. Tied in the 11th, and they're on the ropes now.
They're on the ropes, and it all started from that errant throw to first. That mistake that's been made time and time again in this game. And right now, that may be the most costly mistake. Gore on second. He's fast. A good enough hit from Tinker could easily send him home.
Diaz showing trust in Broussard, even though you see him in the background. Some arms warming up in the Centenary bullpen. It'll be the freshman. He has the game on the line. Runners on first and second. Gore at second, Preston at first. And it'll be the first time we see Kai Tinker at the plate. He came in defensively for Corson Hastings, who left the game. Cedric Bowman had pinch run. He scored the game-tying run. Will the new hitter drive in the winning run? Or might he show bunt? He does show bunt. Centenary expecting it and trying to pick off Gore. So some clever playing right here. Mano-a-mano chess moves between Scannell and Diaz. 2 great friends, 2 great coaches. Who will outmanage the other here? Tinker showing as if he was going to pull it right back and swing away. A little butcher boy action. Now that it was a ball, though, Centenary will be aware of it. Another look at the signs there towards third base, and Tinker is ready to go. The bunt put down, but again, it is foul. Tinker started this season on a roll. Has 1 hit this weekend, making him 1 for his last 16. It's been a bit of a cool down for the senior. The 1-1, bat out there for the bunt, pulls it back in, a wise move for ball 2.
Breaking ball cutting in there. If he would have tried to bunt it, that would have been a very poor bunt, to be sure.
Broussard taking his time now, the 2-1. This time the bunt is fair. Broussard's going to have to make a heck of a throw, and he's not going to get it in time. It gets away from the first baseman, and the Tigers walk it off. A magical weekend for the Tigers ends with a walk-off, and they send the gentlemen back to Louisiana winless. All weekend long, the defense was questionable at best, especially the throws from the left side of the infield. This was the toughest of all of them. No doubt a difficult play, but Broussard would have been better off not making that throw. It got away from the first baseman, and it ends in a Trinity win. These Tigers came in losers of their 4 of their last 5. Coming into their toughest test of the year, the Centenary Gents, reigning champions of the conference. And what did the Tigers say? This is no joke on April Fool's Day. They're headed back to Louisiana without a win.
An impressive victory by the Tigers to play in extra innings, to get that runner across the plate. And for Centenary, it's that mistake that's plagued them all game. Errant throws to first, and it cost them the game there. For Trinity, going to Irving to play Dallas should be a good series up there, where they're going to test their skills on the road.
The Tigers improved to 7-2 in conference play, and the Centenary Gents 4-5. They have dipped below 500, and in a year in which the conference has really stepped it up from top to bottom, they could be in some danger. They face a talented St. Thomas team next week, before hosting Shriner as well. It's really hard to pinpoint who won this game for the Tigers. So let's take a look at some of the best performers. Jack Peterson, 2 for 5 with a home run, the first of his year. He was a huge part. Ezra Gore causing the chaos on the base pass. He scored the winning run. He was on base when it mattered most. So the senior coming through. But there is just no recap of this game and of this weekend that can be told without one name. Jack Martinez, the sophomore from Corpus Christi, Texas. 2 2/3 innings today, 5 strikeouts, did not allow a run. That is after 3 innings yesterday with 4 more strikeouts, picked up the save. He almost exclusively on the mound won these games for the Tigers.
Yeah, he was just absolutely dominant. He's doing crazy things on the mound, coming into crazy situations. And he's just acting like it's nothing, striking people out. And right now he seems like one of the best relievers in the bullpen for this Tiger team, and that's saying something.
On Tuesday night, the post-game huddle for the Tigers lasted about 20 to 25 minutes. Head coach Tim Scannell had a ton to say to his squad after falling to a 4-12 UMHB team. Now the huddle lasting under a minute. They are celebrating a sweep of their rival, the Centenary Gents, going back home after losing 3 games to the Tigers. What a weekend on Tiger Network. We're so happy to have had you for each and every moment. It'll be a while until we next see you, April 21st. The Shriner Mountaineers will be in town as the Tigers are headed on the road for 7 consecutive games. So we really had to soak in all the moments this weekend, and what a weekend it was. Jack Martinez, the MVP of the sweep. But for Reed Rosales and for Cole Isaacson, who was with us on Friday, and for everyone who participated in this Tiger Network broadcast, thank you so much. I'm Brian Jenselson. Have a superb Saturday night.
I'm San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg. I am a Trinity University alum, and I want you to know about my passion for these two vibrant communities. My alma mater is now a nationally recognized liberal arts university, offering fully integrated arts, humanities, STEM, and professional programs. Grounded in the liberal arts, Trinity graduates students who think critically, act meaningfully, and contribute confidently throughout their careers. As for San Antonio, Trinity is an oasis in the heart of a city that serves as a cultural bridge to the Americas. We are a diverse community that values inclusion and welcomes intellectual curiosity and spirited debate. We're a city that challenges convention and welcomes new ideas. Great things are happening at Trinity University, in San Antonio, and through all our connections to our multicultural world. Join me in being part of this exciting moment.